Coming to you from Blue Crew Studio in Temecula, California, it's the Whiskey Throttle Show. Taking you inside the lives of the legends and leaders in moto and action sports. Today's guest is brought to you by Yamaha. Yamaha is the industry leader in two-wheeled fun and performance. Celebrating 50 years of YZ in 2024, the Blue Crew is still dominating shootouts and competitions. Yamaha, revs your heart. SKDA is the leader in motorcycle graphics. Driven by a combined passion for art and motorcycles, SKDA has become a global leader in the off-road motorcycle space. Their graphics can be spotted from a mile away with a unique design that blends speed and creativity. SKDA, search and supply of true art within moto. Troy Lee Designs, built for the world's fastest racers. TLD blends elite level protection with industry-leading style and performance. Moto, bike, helmet paint, casual wear, whatever your passion, Troy Lee Designs is waiting for you on the next level. Nihilo Concepts, enhance your riding experience with superior products like the start-stop conversion kit, fuel petcocks, frame grip tape, lever grip donuts, secondary on switch, billet foot pegs, billet throttle housings, and so much more. Nihilo Concepts produces exceptional products, all of which are made right here in America. Hey guys, wanted to just give a little heads up before we get into this show. There is some adult language, so if you're watching this with kiddos or somebody that doesn't want to hear, choice language, maybe watch this with some earbuds or on your own time. We don't censor our guests. We don't tell them to tone it down. We want them to be themselves. And Beau has some words he likes to use, and so it may not be suitable for work. Just wanted to give you guys an FYI. So enjoy the show. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us here at the Whiskey Throttle Show. I'm your host, David Pingree, and joined today in the Blue Crew studio by one of the OG FMX guys, original, around for the start of this whole movement, and I'm really stoked to hear his story. It's Beau Manley. Dude, welcome. Stoked to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and you've been hosting one of our new features, HangTime, and that's been really fun, like trying to get some exposure back into that world. It seems like they kind of fell off the map a little bit in terms of like media covering them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's kind of what our intention was. We discussed was, it's mind-blowing that, Instagram, obviously, you see these dudes have big followings, they're doing all the shit, but no media outlets giving it any sort of light. So we're like, what can we do,
Yeah, and I kind of get it. Media's changed so much. Like, back in the 90s, like when I was racing and you were doing freestyle, if there was a video, someone that wanted to put you in a video or you wanted going to go do a photo shoot, man, you dropped whatever and you went. It was like you were looking for ways to get exposure. Now they all have their own YouTube channels. They all have their own Instagram pages, their own you know what I mean? Like they don't need the media.
Yeah.
And so it's just different, but we still want to show some love, and fans that are following us, kind of give them a good taste of everything that's two-wheeled.
Yeah, most of the riders that we've done so far, that they're stoked on it.
Yeah.
Because Whiskey Throttle is like traditional motocross, to have that crossover to kind of like, it's legitimized in through that way,
Yeah. Well, sweet. Well, I love what you're doing. If you guys haven't watched that, go check out our feature on YouTube called HangTime. Beau does a great job, and it's a really cool peek at these guys, just getting to know their personality a little bit, and there's some riding in it too, but like just getting to know them as people. It's fun.
Yeah.
So I dig it. We start off with our Nihilo Concepts front end chatter. You guys, if you need grip donuts, frame tape, machine billet parts, starter split switches, secondary on switch, they make so many cool things. Go to Nihilo Concepts and just check out some of their products. You'll be glad you did. So my first question was just kind of about that feature. Has it been fun at hanging with the boys again too? I felt like you kind of went off and did your own thing for a little while.
Yeah, for sure.
So is it fun to be back?
Yeah, it is. It's super fun. Well, in particular, the very first episode where we got to have Mike Metzger come out, that just did it for me.
Yeah.
Because that really brings it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and some of these other guys are new kids, and it's cool to see what they got going, but it's kind of like we already did that so long ago. But to see Metzger in his little turtle shell deal he was wearing, and no visor, I was just like, I was like a little kid stoked. I was like 18-year-old.
Well, we need to go get a show with him. He was kind of
a part of Raha's show, but like we really need to go do one with just Mets.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's been, like I said, it's been a lot of fun. What about family, dude? You got a little kid now, and
Yeah.
has that changed you at all?
Yeah.
I know you've got an older son.
I got 2 older sons.
2 older sons. Okay.
But definitely, obviously, it changes everything.
Yeah.
As you know, it's you just gotta. It makes you think differently.
Yeah.
You know, when you're young and you don't have kids, and you can be a lot more reckless.
Yeah. It's a perspective change.
Yeah. It changes your whole deal, and you realize they're looking up to you, they're watching you, and even though you're still yourself and kind of have tendencies to be the way you were, you're kind of like, you check up, you know, you're like, hey, nah, dude, fucking don't do that.
Let's not send this one just right
Yeah,
now.
Don't do that.
Is your new baby a boy or a girl? I can't remember.
Boy.
So we need to get him on a Stasic here soon.
Yeah, absolutely. He loves motorcycles.
Dude, how cool are those things? I mean, they're a sponsor of the show, so that was probably a gratuitous plug. But like, seriously, I see videos of these kids that are like 3, 4, just ripping, you know, like in their basement.
No, it's rad. I wish they had him when I was a kid. I would have got more hurt than I did then. Yeah. But
well, maybe not though, because maybe you'd have learned skills, you know, and had your
Yeah.
technique better, so that as you went on, you'd have been better from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's super young, but I feel like he would just get on it and just whack it right now. Like he
But
loves.
you can control it. You can dial their throttle in.
Yeah, he loves motos. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
He's already you're in trouble. Okay, well, cool. Let's get into it. Hey, guys, go over to whiskeythrottlemedia.com if you haven't been over there. Check out what we got going on. Our YouTube page, our Instagram. Follow us if you don't. We've got moto, off-road, dual sport content. We got a really fun dual sport feature. Brand new merch, including this Willie Nelson-inspired Get Up. We got an Outlaw series that we just dropped that's kind of pays homage to the Highwaymen after the passing of Chris Christopherson, if any country fans know who that guy is. Anyway, check it out. Lots of cool stuff. And if you need some coaching, go to elevateactionsports.com or at Elevate Motocross on Instagram. Really sweet online platform for coaching. All right. Tell me about where you grew up, man. Where are you from? I don't even know that.
I'm from Washington State. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest.
PNW guy.
PNW, yeah. And
like where? Seattle area? Or
Longview is my hometown, and it's like not too far from Washougal.
Okay.
Basically, the Hill brothers are from right up the freeway a little ways.
Okay.
But I grew up just riding, racing, like whatever was going on.
Yeah.
I raced flat track.
Okay, so you sent a picture with like a little pit or a little mini bike with flat track wheels.
That was it. Yeah. Well, what it was is that was a picture after the following summer. I won an AMA dirt track championship.
Really?
Yeah, 60 stock, whatever, a Grand National Championship at like 9 years old. But I already like raced motocross, raced whatever was going on, just different disciplines.
What year was it? What year were you born?
79.
79. Okay, so you're 46?
45.
45. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to tack on a year.
Yeah, go on.
I'm turning 50 here this next month, so I get it. What was that area like? Growing up kind of those years, like I was in Montana at the same time, and I actually came over and did a flat track somewhere in Washington.
Was it Castle Rock?
I don't remember,
That
dude.
would probably be it. That's the legendary where they would have a Grand National, like for pros and stuff. That place. When we did a Super Hooligans race there, like a 2017 maybe, 2018.
Okay. I came over and did a race at Washougal. We did one in Oregon, and then we did a flat track, and we were racing like every night, you know. I don't know. That's interesting you did that. Did you do other sports before you got into bikes?
No, not really. I mean, I just, like, my dad was into it, and my uncle was a pro dirt tracker, flat track, and my dad was like his mechanic. So obviously, as soon as he got a chance to push me and get me on one, that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
But like I messed around and like played basketball or tried soccer, you know, when I was in elementary school, or I think I played baseball for like, whatever, training up until the first game, and I'm like, fuck this, I don't want to do it. And I was over it. And I remember, that's a funny story too, but my dad's like, you're either gonna fucking you're either doing the whole season, and like you wore you didn't have like a full uniform. You just had like jeans and stuff.
Yeah, with the jersey.
Yeah, with the jersey. He's like, take the fucking jersey off and leave it here, and we'll beat it and never come back, or you have to do it the whole time. And I'm just all
peeled it right off.
Peeled it off. I'm just all scrawny little blonde kid, and I'm just walking out there shirtless, like all just suck up little. And that was it. Baseball's done, clipped.
Yeah.
It just wasn't fun. I'm not into that stuff.
Once you've ridden, it's hard to replace that or like find something that gives you that same feeling.
Oh yeah, there's no comparison. But I also grew up skateboarding and snowboarding and BMX, and my teenage years, like growing up, I raced dirt bikes from the time I was a little kid. Like I started racing at like 5. All the time, like sometimes 3 times in a weekend. Like I might do a flat track race or an indoor arena cross, and then an outdoor mudder on Sunday. So like Friday nights flat tracks, or whatever, how it all fell. And so I just got burnt out, and I also got hurt a bunch, like just crashed my brains out. And then I discovered chicks and high school, going into high school, whatever. I was just over it, and I didn't really ride very much, and I just wanted to skate every day.
Okay.
And I skated every single day, and I went to Mount Hood and snowboarded like a couple times a week, and I was just like, that's where I was at. Motocross was just behind me,
Okay. Well, so did you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have a younger sister that's like 2 years younger than me, and I had a little brother who passed away.
Oh.
At the age of 19 in 2004.
Gnarly.
Drug overdose.
Mm.
So.
Dang it. Were you guys close? Or are you still close to your sister? Yeah.
Well, my little brother was like mini me. Like I took him to go snowboarding, him and his buddies. I'd load him in the van, take him up to the mountain, take him on trips to skate parks. We were always together. So yeah.
That's brutal, dude. I can't even imagine losing a sibling, man. So your dad was a mechanic, uncle raced. That's how you got into bikes. Do you remember your first race?
Well, not really, no.
Okay.
I remember like getting taught to ride because I actually started out on a 3-wheeler. I've seen pictures of Carmichael.
Carmichael did, yeah. And Ryan Morris, same thing.
Yeah, so I did a 3-wheeler deal. I remember my dad taking me down there and just like putting me on it and like figuring it all out. And then we got into racing them, and then they mod them out, where they have like lowered and those little like go-kart.
Were you doing flat track?
Yeah. And you're just fucking like, it's like go-karts or something, you know? And then eventually like I got on the 2-wheelers, and it was shortly thereafter that I just went and just tried to race that flat track series and just won the championship. Like my first go at it.
You had it down, dude.
Yeah, I had it down.
What motocross tracks would be in in that area? I don't know anything that's up in the Seattle area.
We're like Portland, basically. We're more.
It's closer to Portland.
We're like 45 minutes.
So Washougal, was that Mountain View?
Mountain View.
Was that still there?
Yeah, that place is rad.
Yeah.
Mountain View, Washougal. There's winter tracks that we would ride. Then there was like indoor arena crosses because obviously the weather sucks, and So I did a lot of indoor stuff all winter. And then there's this track called Woodland Motocross. It's still there. It's legendary. Has a sign over this one jump that's probably been there since the 70s. It says Woodland welcomes you, but it's like full like from then, like still there, And it used to be in the trees where it was all forest, but they whacked all the trees so it's open. But like Jason McCormick, Ryan Huffman, all those dudes were there when I was a kid.
You remember like Rick Simmet? He would have been a really fast 80 kid back then. From the Northwest. There was a couple others. Lowell Thompson was like from Idaho, I want to say, but he would come up. Do you remember that
Jimmy
name?
Lamastus, remember him?
I remember Jimmy Lamastus.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Brad Hagseth. He didn't doing arena cross.
The Hagler.
He was like I rode with him. He was just right up the freeway a little ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big crowd. Lance Smale.
Yep, Lance Smale.
Shoot, man. A lot of dudes from up there. Yeah, there's some older pros too, but anyway, yeah, you had a big.
I think it was Scott. I think it was Scott Steffi, and he ran number 420. I think I remember being a little kid at Washougal on a practice day, like not like a little kid, but like middle school or something. And Lance Smell was there, and you know how moto is so uniform. He had like made like his own custom graphic kit with like a number plate background or something, and took an X-Acto knife, but he made Metallica.
Oh, really?
Lance Smell, yeah, it was like just fucking out there with Metallica, like a Shroud kit.
Yeah.
Like who's done that? That was rad.
Smell was good.
Yeah.
He doesn't get enough credit for like what he did as a racer. And
Yeah.
he was
The first 4-stroke guy.
he was a character too, but that guy was fast. Okay, so who was your crew? Like, who did you grow up racing with and riding with? Like, who was in your kind of crew up there at that time?
There's a bunch of dudes. I don't like.
You don't keep touch with any.
Well,
of
I
them?
mean, yeah, Mike Corder's one of them. Do you remember him?
I remember the name.
Yeah, that guy. We were tight, and there's a lot of them just don't ride anymore. You know.
Okay.
But we would just go, and there's different families, and you know how moto is. You kind of go in the pits and park, and the parents end up kind of clicking up.
Yeah.
So like this is our crew right here, and then whatever, and then we don't like these fuckers over here, you know, whatever. There's always something going on like that.
Yeah.
But we're just kids. We're not thinking about the politics or anything. We're just like had toy dirt bikes in the dirt, just you know,
BMX jumps and stuff.
yeah, just fucking around. But the parents were doing their thing. Yeah.
I have such good memories of as a kid in Montana. I guess I never really paid attention to if the parents were cliquey, but I just remember everybody kind of camping, and it was just about a good time. No one was expecting to become a pro or had any aspirations. They were just there for a good time and to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And like, there's something so pure about that, right? Like they were doing it for all the right reasons. Mm-hmm. Where now, if you go to a local race here, everyone's got the sprinter and dad's out there screaming and, you know, mom's shaking her ass trying to get some sponsorship money. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's different down here and now. It's, and I just wondered, I imagine Washington was probably the same way.
It was like,
just good people.
good, yeah,
having a good time.
it was, but I always thought, because like I said, I grew up skateboarding, snowboarding, and punk rock, and just like different culture that's outside of motocross. It's more like, I don't know what you call it, but it's more culturally significant, sort of, to the mainstream, right?
Okay.
You know, skateboarding like Tony Hawk in the 80s, or
Yeah.
Cab,
Yeah.
or any Hosoi, any of those guys. So I understood like a difference, whereas like moto people, that all they did was moto, they didn't understand, like they didn't have a context to show you. So I always knew moto had its own deal, but I just remember, like, in my time frame, everyone had a mullet. In Washington, well, the Northwest in particular.
Northwest for sure.
But like, even when the mullet was done for like another decade, it, like, dudes had mullets.
It's true.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
right? Because you're from Montana.
Dude, Larry Ward was the king of it.
Yeah.
I think he might have been one of the first guys. He had a big old mullet, and you're right. It lasted way longer than it should have. Up
Yeah,
there.
like down here, dudes were doing something way different, but up there, it was still just fucking, just flicking it. Like, you weren't even sweet if you pulled up to the starting line, you didn't have a mullet, and you're just like, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend's right there, like, yeah, it's my chick, dude, fuck. Listening to Metallica.
Well, I don't know about, again, like, maybe you guys, because you had bigger cities, were a little more tuned in. Montana's like 10, 15 years behind on everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like going back in time. So it's the same way. Like, whatever's cool right now, they'll be wearing it up there still in 10 years.
Yeah.
Or doing it. You know what I'm saying? Hairstyles, clothes, doesn't matter. It's endearing, but it is funny when you look back. You're like,
Or
oh,
if you
man.
just go visit.
I love it. It's like a time machine, dude.
Yeah.
For real. You're like, wow.
Yeah, bro, I just stepped back into 05 right
It
now.
hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It's the same, you know. We're down here, you blink, and there's a new apartment complex up.
Yeah.
So you said you had some big injuries, like just a lot of little ones, or you have anything like gnarly?
Just
as a kid.
Well, like, just like, you know, like breaking your collarbones or ribs or, you know, ankles or just shit like that. Like broken wrists, arms.
So this would have been, I mean, I'm spitballing here, but like late 80s when we were racing?
I raced all the way up until the night, like right before freestyle started. Pretty
Okay.
much. I just took that break for that period of time. I always had a bike. My dad said I didn't ride for a couple of years. I'm like, I don't think so. The way I remember it was having a bike in the garage and feeling like, I want to ride, and like going riding and maybe not ride again for like 3 to 6 months or something. Just every once in a while riding. But he's like, no, you pretty much didn't ride at all for like years. And that's all I was doing was skateboarding. And I took it really serious and was like so focused on it, like hyper focused. I was a riddling kid. I was a kid in school that I was like first gen. They're like, here's some fucking amphetamines. Shut up. You know, that's pretty gnarly if you think about it now.
Crazy, dude.
But yeah, I was a riddling kid because I was just all, you know, couldn't sit still. I was distracting people. They were just they were bummed on me. They're like, here.
Well, it's when you think about it, you're asking kids, like young boys in particular, because they have a lot of energy, right? Mm-hmm. Sit in this chair for 7 hours today.
And listen to something you don't care about.
You don't care about. Be quiet.
Yeah.
Do what I tell you. Like, that's like a mind hump for these kids.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, then you feed them methamphetamine to try to get them to tune in. It's like, really? That's our answer? How about, maybe more recesses?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I had
crazy.
like the weirdest, just all kinds of weird shit, but that was one of them. Was I was a riddling kid. So to this day, when people tell me something or I forget, because I don't fucking take Adderall or anything, they're like, I space it on something. I'm like, I was a riddling kid, guy. Fucking, I'm not gonna remember that shit or whatever. Or if it's not like interesting or something, I'm like, oh yeah, I got, they just tell me some mundane thing. I'm just like, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. You were halfway through telling me, and I already forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
So how good did you get at skating and snowboarding? Were you pretty legit?
Yeah, I would say so. I really thought like I could do this, and then the Krusty Demon video came out. I just did their podcast, and that's like, I saw that and I was like,
Would have been 94?
I'm not exactly sure. I thought it was like 95 maybe. I could be wrong. Maybe it was 94, but whatever.
Do you remember this? This is so funny because I was living with Randy Lawrence. He was my mechanic at the time. It would have been end of 93, 94. And I came over and he was big into snowboarding and bicycling and stuff. And we watched a video called Whiskey. Because snowboarding was doing videos like that way before moto. That's where the Krusty guys got that idea, right? Did you ever see that video called Whiskey?
I think so.
This dude, at one point in the video, I mean, it's all kinds of just cool snowboarding stuff and then some like those guys out at night, or just like exactly what Krusty's was, but for snowboarding. And at one point, there's this guy with a bottle of Jack Daniels, and he's trying to break it over his head. And dude, he must have hit himself 10 times, almost knocks himself out. And he finally breaks it. And I'm just looking at Randy going, who are these people? Like, I'd never seen this culture. I grew up in Scottsdale, was going to high school in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's like preppy, clean cut. There was nothing like this,
These guys are fucked
They're
up.
wild, dude. And so anyway, that was my introduction to it. And Sean Palmer was buddies with them. So I got to know Palm and just like, it was a trip. And so then when Krusty came out, I'm like,
so I was like in high school, right? And then I just saw that and I'm just like, that's what I'm going to do. I just
really
like instantly, I was like, that's it. Cause I was already snowboarding, skateboarding, but I grew up racing motocross and I love riding dirt bikes, but I didn't really like racing that much after time. I just wanted to ride for fun. And that's essentially what they were showcasing, especially big names. Like, they had McGrath, Emig, everyone, even you, that we used that one Millencolin song on, I can't even remember which episode of HangTime. And I told him that was in your part on Moto Triple X.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
So that was my next question. Like, when you saw the first bit of FMX, did you just like it tuned in?
It wasn't even FMX yet. It was just,
free riding.
Yeah. Well, it went from that to like figuring out how, like the first ever, like we talked about on Patrick Evans's episode when we went to Matto's, I pointed over to Link Hoggles and said, that right there is where FMX started. Mickey Diamond went in there and built that.
Was that where Nate Adams' place?
Next
that
to
one? It was next to that, right?
It's next to. It's Briar Rose Winery right now.
Yep.
But the malicious jumps are still there and stuff. It's not the original one, but yeah, he built a dirt bowl. It was like a huge gap over a bowl, and then there was jumps on the outside where you jump into the bowl and jump out of the bowl. There was all these different lines, but that was the first ever, like, we built a fucking something we could bring indoors or to a stadium,
like an anthill, right?
Yeah,
kind of similar, so you could jump in and out or gap it.
And so that was like, that's where it started, because they were already thinking like, how are we going to package this? And then it went from that to Mickey Diamond again making the mobile landings. The first ones were wood. And they were like roof trussels underneath. And they were like, it was like at least the one we jumped in Australia, it was like, there's a crease down the middle because it came apart and like stacked like a sandwich so it could ride on a, like a semi. Yeah. And they put it together, but I wasn't there, but I heard, I'm sure usually Mickey just jumped the shit first. He did.
Mickey was a nut.
Yeah, no, he's such a hero of mine from when I was a little kid, when he raced, when I went to Seattle Supercross, had the hair. He fucking
killer mullet.
Rode with, I remember in like dirt bike or motocross, some magazine he was riding with Motley Crue. Do you remember that?
He was buddies with him.
Yeah, no, he was the guy. So later on, he's fucking probably my age now. He's going out there and he's just gearing up and just jumping jumps before anyone else. We're just like, dude, that guy's so rad.
He's gnarly.
And but that landing, they used it on the first year of Warped Tour. I wasn't there. We did it like after. It was Hart and Feist and Link and Trevor Vines. Those guys.
Haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, and I think Hart jumped it from what I heard and landed, and the plywood wasn't thick enough or something, and his bike just stuck, and he just went out on the concrete, you know? That's what I heard. I wasn't there, but that sounds pretty gnarly.
Sounds right.
But basically, that's what it was for us. We were the guinea pigs, the test lab rats to get, now they're just jumping on a big pillow, you know? But
do you remember, someone said the first contest was actually in Vegas.
That was that with that kind of thing that Mickey built. But actually, I think before that, there was some little kind of not as big time a deal that Shane Trittler did, I believe, in Castaic.
Okay.
And I think Larry won
that.
And Larry won that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, very early on, it was probably after those two, there was one in like Havasu. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that? I think it's where Pastrana got all jacked up.
Yeah. And I think the Vegas one was before that. And that's when, and Ricky Johnson was one of the MCs when you watched it, because ESPN, I believe, covered it, and it was sick. But.
Well, I was at that one in Havasu. I don't know why. I thought I was maybe going to be a judge or something. I can't remember but I was there. And you had like Ronnie Feist doing his kung fu stuff. He'd get up on top. There was a car that guys were riding up over this car. It was just very, very like early days of it. And it was, I don't know, man. It was pretty cool to watch. Renner, you know, he would do his thing where he'd
do the worm.
Or, you know, like
do the worm.
And I just thought it was the thing about freestyle that even from that very first contest, I thought, you know, this will go off because it's kind of WWE where there's like characters.
Yeah.
And the guys are just leaning into it, right? Kung Fu Feist.
The Flying Hawaiian.
The Flying Hawaiian. Everybody had a thing.
Tomcat.
Yeah, the catwalk, you know, like they all had their own names and personalities and tricks. And there was somebody for everybody. If you were like punk dude, you loved the Militia.
Yeah.
If you were like more clean cut guy, but you like Pastrana was your guy, right? You
or
like
Nate Adams,
everybody had somebody. And I just thought, man, moto needs more of this. There was a little bit of this in the 80s and 90s. Not as much, right? But like even now, look at Hayden. He's definitely taken pages out of his old man's book.
Oh yeah, I love it.
He's better than his dad ever was, but like he instigates. He it's funny, right? Like because you can just see Brian and him. Yeah. Brian's probably proud of him. Hey, if you win, say this, you know, take this flag up there, you know, you could just see it, right? And it's like at first I didn't know what to make of it. I'm like, this kid's kind of being arrogant, and then I'm like, he's actually brilliant.
Brilliant.
It's brilliant.
It's just like how Militia blew up, like as far as him branding himself. I mean, obviously he's just winning and stuff. Yeah. But he's,
you got to, I mean, that's part of it too.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, he could just be winning and be uninteresting.
Yeah.
But he's doing it, and then he's like fucking just entertainment, a little bit of controversy, like just throwing enough in there to like really stand out from everyone else.
And look at like Plessinger, right? He leans into the cowboy thing. I don't even think he's from Ohio. You know, I don't think he's really a cowboy. He doesn't work on a farm. Yeah. But he wears the hat and he plays it up. And dude, people love him. He might be the most popular guy at the track.
Yeah.
So the guys that kind of find that character and just
well, you know what's funny for me to think about is that it took that long for people to figure it out. Because we did it so long ago, 20 plus years ago. And also as FMX started developing, I kind of thought that the way to go was WWF. I thought that it would be more successful if it went that way. And then it obviously became a legit sport. In the beginning, it kind of wasn't. But then it was like X Games legit. Yeah. And I was over it. I'm like, this sucks. Like that.
You wanted it to be the way it was.
Yeah, well, it was just more fun. And I just saw like kind of you could see a little bit like how they had Militia like toys at Target or whatever that you could have really ran with that whole character thing and really probably kept people's interest more. Because then there's just some guy who's like a racer or just his mentality is like, I'm here to win. Yeah. I'm here to get this gold medal. But he's not like He doesn't care about that other part. That
Yeah.
other part's not even part of his deal. So they come and go. They turn and burn them. And
The fans lose interest.
yeah, no one cares.
Yeah.
But like Metzger, what a nut.
Yeah.
You know, when he won something, he's like ripping his shirt off and being all crazy and stuff. Like, people will remember that forever. That's why that day when we went and filmed that episode and he was in his little turtle shell, you know, his little deal he had with the bullet head, I was so pumped. Like, just to get a glimpse, just to see it for just one day.
Took you back in time.
Yeah, just for one day. And same with Raha. You had Raha on here. When Raha first came out, that first year he did quarter pipe and he had the spiked shoulder pads.
Yeah.
That really did it for me. And obviously Larry's the one that helped him, gave him the spot to ride, kind of coached him. To see that, like, it's been long gone to see Raha there with the spiked shoulder pad. I was like, they need to turn back to that, honestly.
Yeah, I it's hard, right? Because as a racer, and I'm guilty of this, I was like, I'm here to win races. Like, that's what I'm paid to do. And you forget about the entertainment side. It's also, people are going there to be entertained. Yeah, they want to see good racing, but if you're just vanilla, man, you're only going to bring in so many people who like you for maybe the way you ride or something like that. But if you have a character, if you have some personality, well, now you just brought in all these other people who were like, well, whatever on the track, but dude, I like this guy. He's got this vibe. More moto dudes need to embrace this. And, you know, the free ride guys, I think they still do a pretty good job. There's some that don't, though. That don't.
No, I don't
want to blow anyone out, but I could name some guys.
I feel like almost no one does it. I mean, Raha does it a little bit, and his is organic. You can tell he's not forcing it.
Yeah.
He's not like trying to be like whatever.
Well, what's your thoughts on that? Like, because there's some guys who really play a character, and they're not really like that. But then there's some dudes who are like Colby, who's super authentic. That's just him. And him being himself is his character. And I feel like that makes it even cooler.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that? Like, is it still work when guys just play it up?
I mean, like you said about Raha, if it's something that you, like a niche that you already have, it's like, why not fine tune it or like
just magnify it a little.
Yeah. But like to just come out of nowhere and just be a kook would be stupid, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, look at this guy, you know?
Yeah. What about I gotta always ask freestyle guys when they're on about that dude that showed up at X Games that was doing double backflips. I can't remember his name.
Oh, that guy was so sweet.
Gardening gloves and like a hockey jersey.
Yeah, that guy. I don't remember his name either, but that guy was sweet. We were stoked on.
And he showed up in an ambulance. To me, that was like
no, we were stoked on
good.
that guy. That guy literally had no bike skills, could not ride a motorcycle. All he would do is just yank it super hard. But yeah, he had those leather. We were pumped on him.
Yeah, really?
Like,
okay.
yeah.
I was wondering what the vibe was. If you guys were like, dude,
at least the militia guys, our crew, because we get it. Like, we're like, this shit's funny. This guy's rad. Like other people,
his race rig was an ambulance.
Yeah,
like that is so funny.
I think he was like from Minnesota or something, so it fit perfect. His
Yeah.
whole deal, you know.
That's awesome. God, I wish I could remember his name, but that guy was legendary. Okay, so how, you see, Crusty Demons of Dirt, Moto Triple X. How did you get in? Tell me about how you transitioned into that? Like,
okay, so
who did you know Deegan before any of this, or the militia, or any of those guys?
So what happened is I just started like trying to learn tricks, and I actually went to my friend that Mike Corder had a really pretty dope track in his like a cow pasture. He had equipment to build and keep it maintained, and there was like kind of a bigger double, like finished with a big landing, and I would just go out there and just turn around and just cut the track and just try to like get seat grabs or hit cliffhangers or whatever, double cans. And I
don't even know if seat grabs were a thing that early on. It was like knack-knacks, cans, maybe a bar, what is it, a stripper or a bar hop, like some of that. It was all just like really rudimentary stuff. Kiss of death.
Yeah. Well, what happened?
All
that. And I just remember like all the locals that I grew up racing with and stuff being like, that's so stupid. Like,
really?
Well, yeah, they're like, why aren't you doing motos? Like, because they're out there just like whatever. And everyone thought I was a kook. Like all the people, not like the homie, like Corder, like he probably got it, but like all the other guys were like,
yeah.
What are you doing, dude? And I saw it. I saw the video. I could already envision where this was going. So I'm like, that's what I'm doing. But other people just didn't get it until it actually happened. This is on the visionary board, whatever.
Yeah.
people just didn't get it, and they were just like, dude, what are you doing? Even my dad was kind of pissed at me because he's like, that's wear and tear on your bikes. Like, you're just out riding around, messing around, just like wear and tear on those bikes. Yeah. And I'm just like, trust me, it's going to be huge. Fucking, you know?
Well, the old school mentality would be like that. Like, dude, you need to get some work in here. What are you doing? You're just having fun and screwing around.
Yeah, and I just said, trust me. And then I remember after we did it and it popped off, seeing all those people just loving it. Just like, you know, I remember them talking shit, you know? So then it's like funny to like be at an event or something and see him in the stands and be like, "What's up, guy? remember I'm a kook."
Hey, remember that dumb stuff I was doing?
I remember I'm a kook.
So how did you get connected? So you start working on that stuff, and then.
So then I would just like call like whoever
because it wasn't like you were down here.
No.
In SoCal where it was kind of building.
No.
You were, you know.
Yeah. No. I got plugged in with the Crusty Demons guys and Bubba. Remember Bubba?
Oh, yeah.
R.I.P. Bubba. I would always be like talking to him, and he'd be like,
how'd you know him?
Fuck, I don't even honestly remember.
Okay.
Like seriously, I'm fried. Ozzy Osbourne cooked, but yeah, I don't remember exactly how I met Bubba or got in touch with him. But Bubs is like, yeah, come down here and fucking. I had a cousin that lived in Northridge in San Fernando, L.A., and so I'd go stay at his house. And Bubba and this other guy and John Freeman lived in Malibu, and Dana was in Orange County, and Enslow was in Huntington. And so I actually went riding in Malibu when I first came to California, and I was in Los Angeles. This is a very unlikely, weird story, or untraditional approach. I'm in LA, and then when I want to ride, I go to Malibu.
Where?
There was people that had property up on a mountain, just like overlooking the Pacific Ocean and the backdrop. And there was this one jump where you'd like go up this blacktop driveway and veer off, like maybe it was a housing pad or something. They built it looked like, you know, when you see snowboard parks, like the big lip and then it drops off. It was like that. You're like going, you see this fucking massive lip, and you're just all like grabbing gears. You're probably third on a 2-stroke 250, but you're like, boo, click third. Ooh, it was probably like 120 or something. And it was basically like a big tabletop, but there was other shit like canyons and little hips. And that was the only place to ride. You're in LA. Where are you going to ride at? I went to Gorman, I think, a few times. Yeah. And,
LACR would have been the only other thing.
Yeah.
Kind of close.
Yeah, but I remember.
I've never heard of anyone riding in Malibu. Like, I thought you'd just be shut down immediately.
No, we were moto in Malibu. Actually, a funny story is I had a cousin who actually lived off the 101. I don't know what community it was considered, but it was Coldwater Canyon. He had like 5 acres, and he had like ATV trails. It wasn't enough to ride dirt bikes. It was like this super steep hill, and it was like a zigzag thing. Okay. So you're just like on utility quads, like in the trees and stuff, like you're in the jungle. And then you pop out on top of this hill, and you're just looking at all the lights of LA. Like you're in LA, but you're in a jungle on utility quads. Yeah. Next thing you know, you're sitting up top, just looking at the city. So yeah, we rode downtown LA even. We were before all the street, you know, everyone rides street now. Yeah. We straight up unloaded our bikes and we're hitting the river there. There's a hip. You go down onto the bridge, and then there was like the area you'd go over the edge and then and just hip off it. So we were like riding downtown LA.
You guys never got hassled by cops?
Especially not in downtown LA. Yeah. No one ever.
They got other stuff to worry about.
Yeah, it's such a fucked up place.
Let's see, we got a shooting and the dirt bike guy and another
rape. People were stoked.
Yeah.
I remember there was like county surveyors or something with their little equipment out, and I thought they were gonna like phone us in, you know, like, oh, we're fucked, dude. These guys are, and they were like stoked. They're like, yeah, like, and they'd see us do something. Like we're riding wheelies, like me and Scummy, you know, he's really good at doing the nose wheelie to drop it on the bike stand, you know. So we're just out like doing stuff like that, and like the surveyor guys were like, yeah. So we're like, yeah.
Okay, so you kind of get plugged in with them. The first X game was 99. Were you doing anything in between like 94 and 99? Like what was kind of going on in that window?
I think my first contest I did was in 99, and it was like in fall, so it was after X Games.
Okay.
And so I just watched it on TV.
But what did you think when you saw that? You're like, this is I knew this was coming like this.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, but it looked like really compared to those original contests where there was no ramps, where it was those big bowls, it looked much tighter and confined and like probably more technical, you know, maybe not, but it just seemed like, oh yeah, that they made it work in a smaller area.
Yeah. I remember hearing stories, guys that were there that would competed or whatever said, you know, there was crowds at the half pipe and all these other events. And as soon as a bike fired up, it was like everyone just mobbed around that contest course. Mm-hmm. And it was like nothing anyone had ever seen, you know, like people were tripping out.
Yeah, that's what it was like. Like we did Warped Tour as well, which is a punk rock tour, a music tour thing. And they had skateboarding, like Cab was on it.
Yeah.
And BMX, Rick Thorne, they had a vert ramp. And obviously the people seen people skate. But as soon as they heard a dirt bike, they're just like, what? And they go over there and you're just jumping these metal ramps and on blacktop. Yeah. And now people have seen it forever. But at the time.
Yeah. Well, look, it's impressive what they do coming out of a quarter pipe or half pipe. Like it's nuts actually doing it. Mm-hmm. But that compared to a guy jumping 80 feet, 30 feet in the air, flipping. And
then we didn't have it. Well, we didn't do flips yet, or no one did flips yet, but there wasn't even an airbag. Yeah. It was like just a scaffolding basically. So like if something happened, like if you just bike bogged or locked up, you're done. Like
Well, when Tommy was on here, Clowers, he had a video of that. His bike bogged off the face, and dude, he almost died.
Yeah.
He just cleared the wall of it, but I think it was Warped Tour maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys kind of got lucky getting through that without really jacking somebody up.
Yeah, well, I remember like being in Australia, and that's when we already kind of started at least getting the little airbag to cover so you don't just die. We were over there, and there's no airbags, and I'm just like, fuck, what are we going to do? And so I told them, the promoter in Australia, whatever, to go grab a bunch of plastic trash cans, and we stacked them up. So I'm like, at least if you go into the backside of it, you're going into all these like plastic dumps.
A little bit of cushion.
Yeah. I was like, this is what we got to work with.
Yeah. You could have stacked cardboard boxes even. Like I know in stunt work they do that. They'll stack cardboard boxes, like build them, but nothing in them. And they crush.
Well, one year they had like this styrofoam stuff that was like 4 feet thick or something. Instead of before they had airbags, they actually just put styrofoam. I'm thinking, I guess, but like I think someone just nicked it or something. It just broke and fell off. Yeah. I'm like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, I don't think styrofoam. You just leave a 3-inch indention into it and then be dead on the ground. Okay, so. Keep moving forward with that then. So 99 happens. You do your first contest. Were you like pretty good at that point? Or
I did all right. And then what happened was the following weekend, it was Van's Triple Crown, and it was in San Diego at the Sports Arena Center or whatever. And then there's like Anaheim, and there's one in San Francisco, Cal Palace, which whatever. I somehow went from the first contest to the second contest second one for me, and I just qualified into the Triple Crown. And so then it was on, you know, because you're doing the deal. And there was some pretty big names that like didn't qualify in. They ended up having to be alternates. I think Sink Mars might have not qualified. There was a few. I know Scummy didn't originally qualify. He was an alternate and someone got hurt. But like bigger guys that had already done all these other events like X Games and stuff didn't. I'm sure there was politics involved, the judging and whatnot. Yeah. There always was. But I'm sure that's why they like, whoever was loyal, it was basically like Feld. Yeah. But whatever it was called then. So whoever was like, did their previous events, they're going to be loyal to those guys and kind of put them in.
Yeah, dude. I always... I hate when something's judged. It's one thing I love about racing. It's like the gate drops and it's the first guy to the checkered flag. You know? Surfing, all of the skating, you know, big dirt jump stuff, and then freestyle. It's like you're relying on people who are try as they might. They're gonna have some bias, right? Like one guy might he doesn't like these certain tricks, or he's looking for something,
or he just straight up doesn't like that guy.
Maybe. And so it always bummed me out. when you'd see a guy and you go, oh, that dude just won for sure.
Yeah.
And then you see the scores and you're like, really?
No, there was a lot of politics involved for sure, and buttering people up. And I even heard that, there was some like people like paying money to judges to
Really?
to get medals and stuff. In the original days, I don't know what it's like now, but
One thing that was cool about the early days of this, if you try to come in now as a new guy, there's dudes that are established that already have tricks down. You know what I mean? And you're trying to close that gap, or steadily progress to get to where they are. It was like back then, everybody was new at it, right? Like no one had an advantage as far as just being there longer, right?
yeah.
That was what was cool about the early days of it.
Yeah.
Everybody was learning together. Even the first backflip, like, can we do it? Like, I don't know. You try. No one wanted to really pull it.
And then once it happened, then everyone just rushed to it.
Yeah.
And I remember because there was no foam pits or anything. I remember Deegan, like, everyone's like, fuck, I have to do this. And I remember him making like this wood chip landing, so like, even if you like pulled it, pretty much you're crashing, And I remember just ragged, like seeing him like land and like just,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're not coming out of it. Well, that's what Pastrana did, right? It was like a mulch pile.
Yeah.
I think he could ride out of his, but sketchy. All right, so how did you get connected with Deegan and kind of the link?
Oh yeah, so that's what happened is we went and did the Vans Triple Crown, and that's where I met Twitch and Scummy, like that first one. And then I remember because that was Twitch's hometown, San Diego. Like he had all his friends and his homies, and they were all just cruising. And he's like, "Hey, come hang with," like pretty much like welcomed me in. So like, he's just a good dude.
Yeah.
And everyone to this day knows that he like all these new kids, he's bringing them over, letting them ride. But he's like, yeah, hey, roll with us. And like made me feel at home. And I was hanging out with him, and then Scummy, same deal. We were a little bit younger than those guys. And then like within like the next event or the event after or something, they're kind of just like, here, like they wanted us. We were running Mulisha stickers. It wasn't huge, and it had pretty much been created. Like it wasn't.
And what do you know about the creation of it? Like I hear different stories. Like I remember Link Hoggle, because remember he had a Supercross track up at that little house he lived in. He lived in like the
rock house, yeah.
Well, yeah, whatever it was that thing, like
a cottage.
Cottage, yeah, it was really weird. And we'd go ride his Supercross track with him. I don't know the years, like. It had to be 94, 95-ish. And Link Hoggle was so squirrely, dude. He would, I don't know, he would tell stories about his dad in the war, and like he'd have these weird drawings, and this is he had like this military helmet. Guy's brains got blown out. And it's like he would just tell you stories, and you're like, yeah, this guy's out of his mind. And then he had a Beavis and Butthead box van. You remember that thing?
Yeah.
Did he start? Who started it? Where did it come from?
So, I mean, it's kind of a sensitive subject matter, I think.
Okay.
I think it might be. I reckon it might be.
Okay. Well, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Do you still keep in touch with Link?
No, not really. I don't think anyone does.
Oh, really?
He's just right over here. But, I mean, if we run into him around town, if we're lucky, he's a big treat for sure.
He's jacked now. He's like, isn't he all? Last time I saw him, he was.
I haven't seen him in probably like maybe a year and a half, 2 years, but just it varies. I one time, I was trying to get a hold of him. He wouldn't get back to me, and then I go into the gas station off Butterfield off the 79 to get a can of chew, and he comes walking out, and he looks like he has like a big grizzly beard, and he's wearing like Carhartts and work boots, and he's just like, he's just on his own trip.
Totally.
Yeah.
He's always been that way.
Yeah.
He's his own dude. Love him or hate him. I always remember him saying, I don't remember the contest. He's like, it was like an ESPN thing.
It was MTV.
Where he's like, I'm going to shoot my bike into the crowd.
That was Deegan. That was Deegan that said that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Brian that said, but it was the MTV Sports and Music Festival.
Oh, okay.
And then Larry just said, because Hart hit some jump, and I think he was like locking it up, and he like ran into the camera guy or whatever, and then they showed Larry, and Larry's like, yeah, that'd be rad if the camera guy got killed. That's what he said. But Deegan's the one that's all, I'm just going to ghost ride my bike and decapitate people. But that people saw that, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, those guys are fucked
And
up.
there's the WWE part, right?
Yeah.
Because like obviously he's not
Yeah.
going to do that.
Yeah.
But like just saying that, I was like, holy shit! Like, did he just say that? And I'm sure the ESPN guy was like, what do we do? Do we cut this?
Yeah, no, they came in hot, and then we came in behind them, and we just came in hot, and it worked.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would today, but
It worked. Yeah.
it worked.
That's awesome. So then so you did the Vans Triple Crown. And then what kind of came next? Because there's all these series, dude. Like I was trying to think of all of them. Obviously X Games. You had Gravity Games that went on for a few years. The Krusty Tour. Mm-hmm. You had the Nitro Circus Tour. That's later, but I don't know if you were involved with that.
We did a militia tour in Australia too.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forgot about the Warp Tour. That was pretty big, the Warp Tour for a while.
That was fun. That was like the funnest thing ever.
Was it?
Legendary.
Because you guys had bands, you had music, skate, BM. It was kind of everything, all action, sports, and music. Mm-hmm. It was pretty bitchin'.
Yeah, no, it was. And we kind of, like I said, I grew up on the music, on punk rock. And so you're listening to these bands as a kid, but you kind of have like a preconceived notion of like who they're going to be or how they're going to be. So you're like, dude, these guys are so fucked up. It's going to be so gnarly. And then they're just dorks.
Really?
Not all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of them. They're all like, actually, there's a lot of really cool dudes. And actually, that's another thing that we haven't ever talked about, which I've thought about doing with HangTime is there's a lot of big name musicians that grew up riding moto.
Yeah.
Like I even met like the Stained guys before, and
the bassist was a big rider. I met him back east in like Massachusetts somewhere.
Yeah, and well, my stories were at a music festival, kind of like Warped Tour, but like a 1 day or 2 day like weekend deal in Salt Lake, and I knew it was them. We're not fans, like I never listened to them or anything, but I was being funny to my buddies because we're sitting over there in our little area with our tour bus. And some roadie guy gave me like the shittiest weed, like some joints that were just like not terrible, So I was like, watch this to my friends. And I was like shirtless. I used to have the long hair, and I just rode over to the Stain guys, their bus. I'm like, I think I lit it and put it in my mouth. And I just rode over there. And I was like, this fucking weed sucks. And I just threw it on the ground. And then the dudes were like, whoa. They're probably like, and they're like, come on. And they like just took me on their bus. And the dude just rolled me like some crip ass weeds joints and gave them to me. And I was just sitting on their bus talking to them. And they said they grew up going to Southwick.
What? Oh, yeah.
Because they're from
They're
there.
all Northeast.
Yeah. So they like grew up. They were stoked. They were stoked to watch us ride. And so
funny,
so there's a lot of them though, like that you wouldn't expect even with punk rock or other genres of music. But as kids, they rode dirt bikes or grew up just like us. Our parents taking us to the National, and we're just there with our family. There's these famous musicians that all have that in common.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's my story about Stained. I literally like knew who they were and was just trying to be funny. And I was like, watch this, because we don't give a fuck. We're the militia, And so I literally I think it was just me and Scummy or something. I'm like, lit up the shitty ass joint and just rode over there. I was like, they were like, no problem, get in here. And then there was a time when I'm trying to think. I've done this so many times, like just for fun for us. It's for us. It's not for anyone else. It's before the fucking
no Instagram.
There's no live feeds or any of that shit. It's just for me and you. You know. Actually, it was coming back from Sturgis. Steven Tyler. Yeah, we were coming back from Sturgis and we went to the airport and I saw Steven Tyler outside smoking a cig, and he looks like an old lady, you know. And I go, watch this. Same thing. I'm like, watch this. And I just walked up to him, I'm like, sup, guy? I'm like, got a light? Because I had a cigarette in my mouth, and he just fucking lights my cig. I'm like, thanks, guy. And I just walked off. I like never even said you're Steven Tyler or anything. I just fucked with him. But I did that at Glen Helen at the Mayhem Fest to the guy from Slipknot. It was the clown from Slipknot.
Okay.
I didn't know it was him because they always wore masks.
Yeah, right.
So I just went there. I was partying because I wasn't riding in the event. I was just there to like sign militia posters, and I just got into character, we'll say.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm this guy today. So I went there, saw somebody's bike leaned up against the landing. I knew who it was. I'm not going to say. Somebody I don't like that was on the team. Dude, I still don't like to this day.
Okay.
Whatever. I just went and took his bike, and I had already been throwing him back, and I just fired up his bike, and I was like riding wheelies, like 12 o'clock fender scrapers through the venue, and I rode back behind the amphitheater to the production office because the same people that did Warped Tour did that tour. So I wanted to see the old friends and family. I was just going there to say hi. Well, there's this guy had glasses and a ponytail, and he had like a really nice camera, and he's getting all, So I didn't know who he was. I just thought he was some dork. So I started doing the black Norwegian black metal hand, whipping my hair around, just doing all this fucked up shit, just fucking with him because I thought he was some like dude from the newspaper.
He's taking pictures of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I'm all just doing all this shit. And then afterwards he comes up and I don't know what he originally said, but he's like, "Hi, I'm Sean, I'm Clown from Slipknot or whatever." I'm like, "Whoa!" Like I realized I'm like, "Dude, I'm sorry, bro." I think I said something like, "Oh, I'm a fan." And he's like, "I'm a big fan of you guys, of Militia," And so then we started talking, and then Jim Root, the other guy, comes out and he's like, "Is there anything I can do for you?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was in character still, of course. I'm like, "I need some fucking beer." And he goes on his bus and gives me them all. And I just have to like lift my shirt up like this and hold them and then like try to use the clutch and take off. And I just rode back over to all my friends with like a bunch of beer. But those are the Slipknot guys. That's how I met them. They were literally like, the dude knew who I didn't know. I felt bad. I really did.
Well, how are you going to recognize them? I mean,
exactly. Well, I just felt bad because then I realized, I don't know why it just did it, but I thought he was just some dork. So I was like dorking him out.
That's hilarious, dude. That's the best when somebody that, like that Steven Tyler story, I love it. Because when they're used to people coming up and just falling all over him, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, "Sup, guy?"
Hey, guy.
Yeah, you got a light, guy? He just lit my cig, and I said, "Thanks, guy," and just walked off.
There's not a little phrase a lot more disrespectful than just calling somebody guy.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Hey, guy.
Come on, guy.
All right. So, what years did that go on? That was Warped Tour?
Yeah, I think we did it from like 2000 to like 03. And then, I don't know, maybe 02, 03. But all I know is that we were the last ones to ever do it. And then I think they like brought it back in like not too long ago. But it wasn't like a full tour. There was like an East Coast couple, dates, and then West. Now it's coming back again.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you don't really see, I guess Nitro, the Nitro Circus thing is going, but like, you don't see a lot of that stuff anymore. Like those festival type of events.
What's
like
this,
that.
water?
That's water. Yeah.
All right, sweet.
So yeah, I just kind of want to know what you were doing from really 2000 to current, so like walk us through those years. So up to 03, let's say you're doing Warped Tour. Were you at Gravity Games when Heart flipped?
No, actually we were on Warped Tour. I think I remember, I don't know if I actually saw it or where we were, but someone told us about it and we ended up seeing it on TV. And then
what were you guys thinking? Like,
I was bummed.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it was cool, but I was like, I already knew like just how it is with any trick.
Now you got to do it.
That everyone's going to do that. He just proved you could do it.
Yeah.
And now that he did it, that whoever else, like Deegan, everyone's doing it.
Were you kind of hoping no one did it, so no one had to do it?
Well, we never thought about it. I don't think anyone thought that you're going to be doing backflips next year. Like we're just out doing our basic tricks, whatever, seat grabs and stuff, and now all of a sudden he sent it to the moon.
Yeah, he overcooked it, but he proved that it was like
and then after
totally doable.
And then after that, it's like that everyone jumped on it. Who's next? Because that's how you're going to stay relevant. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like I didn't sign up for this shit.
And then was it X Games the next year where Mets did the back-to-backs?
I think that was Gravity Games.
It was Gravity?
Yeah,
okay.
I think I was on the East Coast, and that one I remember we were on Warped Tour still because it was summertime. We were always gone all summer. I was at like a bar restaurant somewhere on the East Coast, not far. Maybe I was in like Philly or something. I don't know. I was having dinner and I watched it on the TV right above and I saw it just on TV and I'm like,
it was gnarly.
Yeah.
I still remember watching it and just going like, no way. Mm-hmm. Not only did he just grease one, like back to back. Mm-hmm. It was just like, now probably you watch it and you think, no big deal. No, at the time it was heavy.
It was monumental.
Yeah.
It really was because he clicked up a gear and went for the full send. But yeah, no, I did that. We did all kinds of like jump shows, like monster, the same shit that people are doing right now. We do like a monster truck, whatever. People would pay you money to come jump or fucking someone's birthday. I actually have done birthday parties before.
No way.
I swear to God. I mean, that was a long time ago. But
you ever get hired by any rich people to come do something?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically
yeah. And so like you show up and you're jumping at some kid's birthday party. Like we didn't care. You just got to make money to, do your deal. But
I remember when the guys first started flipping, so early 2000s, I guess. I was doing supercrosses in Europe in the off season, and Diamond Dave DeMond. Do you remember him? Dave? Mm-hmm. Am I saying it right? Dave DeMond? Or
I can't. I know exactly what you're talking about.
From San Diego guy.
Yeah, I think he's a real estate guy or something. Yeah.
He I don't think he was great at freestyle, but he could flip. Mm-hmm. And dude, he got more money than me and Damon Huffman to go do this race in Portugal and just flip. And he did one flip over the finish line jump and small, like a little ramp pushed up to it. Was basic as hell by today's standards. And I think I get paid like $25,000.
Yeah.
No one was doing it. So Mets was the guys that were doing it were crushing.
Yeah. Well, even just doing freestyle, like in our days, there was only like 20 guys, period, probably ever.
Yeah.
So you always got a phone call. Someone's like, we need someone. Oh, he's here. But now there's fucking everyone. But that's what it was like. So I just did whatever. I did contests. I think, I can't even remember the last time I did one, but it was probably shortly after. I can't tell you. I can't even remember. Yeah. But it was a long ass time ago. Yeah. And
so you didn't love the contest as much as just shows and free riding stuff.
It was more about just getting and the lifestyle part.
Yeah.
And so no, I didn't like the contest. We just did them because they were there, and you were guaranteed money.
Yeah.
If you got last place, you're making more than you would ever riding Supercross or whatever. So so you just show up.
That's not saying much.
No, I know.
Especially back then.
No, I know. But what I meant was like, going to the contest, you're making money.
Yeah. And you're going to have a good time.
And that was it. I never cared how I placed.
You guys truly had it by the balls in, because it's like, like X Games, I think got a little, the intensity ratcheted up a bit because there was so much money on the line. But all these other shows, you guys were just partying. And then like, hey, let's go ride, let's go have fun. Yeah. There was no pressure to it.
No.
If you felt kind of off, you just kind of send it in a little bit, like do a couple basic, what I mean? Like you didn't have to get all crazy.
Or just watch the clock expire. Literally like go and like jump and just look at the clock and be like ride around and like just like fuck, there's like whatever, just do something to like make it seem like go ride a wheelie through the middle of the course and then hit the turn and then jump one more time
just
and
burn some time.
Yeah, and you're all done.
Okay, so when did you stop riding?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I never really fully stopped riding. It's just, I even during the militia years, there was a lot of times where I just didn't ride for like months, and then there would be a show coming up or something, and I'd have to go practice and like just shake it off, and then go do it again.
Were you flipping at that time?
No, I've never.
You aren't a flipper. Okay.
I'm not a flipper. That's something, like I said, when we first started talking about it, I was like, I didn't sign up for this. It's not. Now looking back on it, I feel stupid. I probably should have. But if it was like today where there's the airbag landings and all that stuff, I think there's no way I wouldn't have. But in our time, it was like so do or die. And actually, there's more stories we could tell. Like, for example, Deegan, we went to Bam's house for Viva La Bam and he lost his kidney.
Yeah, that was gnarly for him, right?
Super gnarly. But imagine he's like a guy that's won gold medals. He does backflips every day. I mean, they're nothing. It's not because it just takes one, And I remember he was feeling off or something. He just probably had a premonition. Probably just, you probably had those. Yeah. And just wasn't.
I just pack it up and go home when I have those now. If I'm out riding and I'm feeling it, I'm like, we're done.
Yeah, there was like a feeling going on. And I had just came back from the militia tour in Australia. That's where everyone was. But I broke my wrist dirty and had to have a plate and 10 screws. I flew here to do it. I didn't want to do it there. And So all the homies were on tour in Australia for like a month, and we all live in Temecula. So all your friends that you're riding with every day and hanging out with, they're just gone. You're just on your own, you know. And so
Where did Bam live?
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And so you had Castle Bam. You know, you've seen the show, whatever. And so the track where this happened was in Delaware. So I don't know the exact layout, but there was a motocross track in Delaware. And so we're filming all these different nights, and Bam has like something draped over his Hummer, and he's doing burnouts in a field, and it's on fire, like a tarp or something to make it. And there's fire trucks, ambulances. Everyone's just like, oh, fuck, he's fucking lit his roof on fire. The day Deegan goes to do that backflip, there's no fire trucks, no medics, nothing there when this happened, when he almost died.
Yeah.
And it was a lack of, medical personnel, anyone. It's hard to believe, because it was MTV. It's hard to believe that like they literally were like, he's fucking Bam's driving around and has a little fire going. We have all these fire trucks, the whole, firehouse there pretty much. I mean, it was a lot of people. We go to have these dirt bike guys jump and do all this gnarly shit, and there's just not a soul.
Yeah, they dropped the ball on that.
And so they wanted me. Guar was playing. I couldn't ride. I was supposed to ride with them. I think it was Feist. If I remember correctly, it was Deegan, Feist, Scummy, myself, and Potter. And I think Twitch was supposed to go, and he's like, I'm over it. And so Potter took his spot. And they wanted me. I just rode a 110. Me and Scummy were just riding pit bikes and ripping around in front of the, they had the camera like set up like that, and the band's playing, and they had like a roll in for this dude on a skateboard to jump who was naked. He had like he put a sticker over his wiener, so that guy was going to do his deal, and then the dudes were going to jump over him while the band, the naked guy, the band, and they were like, dude, get over there and fucking do a burnout or something, and I just had a weird feeling myself. I felt weird. I knew something fucking was wrong.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was like, I didn't think about it. It was just like, a natural like feeling or instinct. And I just was like, nah. And I just rode over by the landing and just sat there on the 110. And I watched him flip, and it's like a headwind or something hit him. And it's like, I don't even think he under-rotated. I think he just cased it. And when he did, his handlebar, it looked like it wasn't a bad crash at all. But the handlebar just went wah and just hit him in the stomach and just blew his kidney out. And he just crashed and went down. And it seemed like he would just get back up and just jump up. And
I thought it was his spleen. It was his kidney?
It was his kidney. He only has one kidney. Oh. And so then he's laying there, and we don't quite know what's going on. Obviously, I've seen this guy get really hurt. Like, he's weeded himself, and he's tough. And it was different, He
was screaming. I remember seeing the video of him writhing.
Yeah, no, it was bad. And I pulled Bam's mom aside and told her, I was like, you need to get someone here right now. He's bleeding internally. I just knew that's what it had to be. It was like a no-brainer. I seen what, I didn't go to medical school or anything. But
so there was no EMTs, no medics, nothing.
Nothing on site. And that happened. And so.
How far were you guys from a major city where you could get them to a decent hospital? They fly him?
No, I didn't have to. I don't think they flew him. I don't know. We were fucked up, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. No, we were on one.
Yeah.
All of us. I mean, I wouldn't say they were right before they rode or anything, but
you guys were just riding pit bikes. Why not?
Yeah, we were riding pit bikes. We were messing around. And so then after they took them, because what are we going to do? They have to load up. They sent a RV back there, like a big motorhome wrapped with militia on it, and a trailer with the takeoff ramps. They built dirt landings, and then all the bikes on it, and we just flew in, And so after that happened, they got him to the hospital. I mean, you still had cell phones and stuff, but it wasn't like today. The communication wasn't quite there. And me and Scummy were off with that guy. I don't know if you ever watched Viva La Band, but he had that big frizzy-haired mop guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were with that guy.
Okay.
So they came looking for us because they wanted to take the motor on. We had to wait for him to load all the shit up. And we're, doing stuff. and they found us and we're like, oh fuck, and then we went to the hospital, but yeah, no, so I can't remember certain things because we there's so much going on, and then we're just not thinking because we're way younger than we are now.
Yeah. But that kind of like cemented into you, like, all right, this is why I don't flip. Is that kind of how we started?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like, well, I already knew, like, I didn't want to do it, but I give examples. Like Jeremy Lusk died, right?
Yeah, I have that on here. Were you buddies with Jeremy? Yeah.
And I mean, there's Aigo Sato from Japan. He's one of our like good friends, and he was just getting ready, I believe, for like a Red Bull X Fighters, and he had 2 little girls, and I remember it was after the Fukushima thing. I remember the tsunami, because I remember like seeing stuff online where he had like an office space or something that was like damaged by the tsunami or whatever. But then he went and was getting ready for an event, and I think he under rotated one and just
killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some tragedy, dude. Like, and when they started doing, especially when it went to double flips, and now they're doing 3, it's just a matter of time, dude. You can't do that and expect there to be just like what happened to Twitch recently, where he just brain fart, and you jump off and snap your legs.
Yeah, there's another example. How many there's no one that's been doing backflips longer than him, because everyone else already quit. Yeah. He's there since day one till now.
Yeah.
And he's doing them all the time. It's like second nature. And then this one time, something happens, and
just a little glitch. And he's hit that jump a trillion times, right? Like more than anybody. So, one of the worst ones, and I'm missing his name right now, but the Japanese guy who jumped into the foam pit when it caught on fire.
Oh yeah.
That was horrific.
Yeah.
And I remember being down here in Temecula, and you could see the header from that pit going up. It burned really black. Did you know him? Was it? I
know what you're talking about. I can't quite remember
dude's name,
but
horrible.
Yeah.
And he was prepping for X Games, right? He was doing like best whip or something, if I remember right.
I don't exactly. I just remember that because it was a big deal.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, there's definitely been some moments where you're just, as a guy on the outside looking in, you just go, yeah, I mean, of course this was going to happen. Like, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner.
Same. Like, there's so many, like, back in our day, especially before they had airbags and all this. Like, with those airbag landings they have right now, I mean, yeah, you could probably still get fucked up.
Well, like Vicky, did you see when Vicky tried it? And I think she under-rotated the first time and then just slammed, but it was on that foam. The bike hits her, and the bike was kind of banged up, and she was a little rattled, but she straightened her bars and went and did it and stuck it.
Without that, done.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have that. So I seen a bunch of fucked up stuff over the years, like dudes that were kooks that shouldn't be doing what they're trying to do. Like when Deegan had that mulch pit thing, I remember some random dudes were going to come and try to backflip. Maybe they're from Bakersfield or something, and seeing dudes like just broken, just twist, like all kinds. You're like, dude, why does that guy even think he could do that?
Yeah.
Like I seen so much of that. One year on Warped Tour, this is a story we heard. It was before we did it. It was when Feist and those guys were out in Hart. They let some local guy in like Texas or something hit the ramp. I don't know if you ever heard this story. I think he was on a 125, and he just like went just, and then there's the landing, and just aired it so fucking far past it to flats on like a parking lot, and just got so mangled.
Oh, is this the one? Was he landed front wheel down? There's a video on Instagram or something I've seen of somebody on a Cowie over Ojang, doesn't even touch the landing ramp, and lands like.
I think that was a chick, actually. That one. I think that was in Australia.
Did she die? Like I can't even watch it, dude. It's brutal. Like I'm to your point.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So there was like so many times where people just didn't get like the safety end of it, like promoters, whatever. They're just like, whoa, another guy that can do this, cool. Fucking just go out there and do it, and then they go and they just. And then so over time they've reeled it back in, and now obviously with those big airbags, I think it's like pretty safe.
Relatively, it's still someone if they go long and don't touch it.
Yeah,
airbags,
of course.
Not
But I mean, like as far as like guys that are trying to do it that have a career, and like like I remember one time Bilko, I saw a video where he like did like a knack flip and his foot slipped off and he's just all just landed, and I think he's same deal, like straightened his bars and still rode, where if that was one of those old metal wood surface, he would have just been fucking done.
Dunzo.
Yeah.
What about that guy? He's a French dude that does the body varials.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think. Thomas Paget. Yeah.
However you say it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna butcher it, but that guy's gnarly.
Yeah, he is.
Like he's hitting like,
or he's doing like alley-oop type weird.
Yeah. Anyway, like flares almost, and then he'll jump off the bike and spin it. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. And I'm surprised I don't see him over here more.
Have you seen that the kid from New Zealand, Levi Sherwood, who used to do events over here?
Yeah.
But he built, like, have you seen that bike he built? He made like a custom FMX bike to where he like shaves so much weight, but it like probably only has like a little bit of a fuel capacity. And I want to say it's a bunch of carbon fiber and stuff, like some super trick.
I've seen it.
You know what I'm talking about?
What does he do with it?
I mean, I think he just jumps and does tricks and stuff. But did you see that thing?
Yeah,
like how
it's
gnarly it was.
Yeah, handmade. Like
handmade everything. He like custom fabricated
it. So, at what point did you quit kind of doing any kind of contests or shows or anything?
Like 06.
06. Okay.
I just remember like the last show I ever did in 06. It was for the Hells Angels. And it was in Fresno. It was like a Hells Angels gathering. There was like multiple, chapters from all over, and we were jumping. And Shane Trittler, you know him, right?
Yeah.
It was his ramps, and I just remember just being over it. Like I was like,
really?
I'm just over this shit. Yeah.
Was that gnarly going and doing a show for that crowd?
No, we did other ones for them,
really?
like over the years. Yeah.
I suppose they're cool.
Yeah, they're rad.
To you guys,
Yeah, they're good.
Fellow motorcycle guys.
Yeah, they're motorcycle enthusiasts.
Still a little bit gnarly. Like one of the districts I worked in, we have Vagos. It's a heavy Vago bike gang area, and we had a guy beater, and I had to cut his cut off, his vest. And it's in a trauma. This guy was jacked up. And in a trauma, we call it strip and flip, like cut their clothes off so you can get a good look at what's jacked up, right? And I'm about to cut the thing, and my partner goes, whoa. And he looks up, he's like, can we cut this to them, because like they get pissed if you, that's like a sacred thing to them. I don't know anything about gangs or whatever. I'm just doing my job. And they're like, yeah, man, cut it, whatever you got to do. So I don't know, they scare me. They're like all those gang, dude, they're gnarly. I've just seen some gnarly stuff. So.
Yeah, like one year we did a jump show. I mean, we did it a few years, but we did it at West Coast Choppers at Jesse James's deal in Long Beach. And from what I remember, alternating years, he'd let different clubs come, so there wasn't any issues.
Okay.
And it was heavy. And it was one of those deals where, we jumped. They had to like open up, like there's just a massive mob of people and punk rock bands playing, and like not like mainstream, but like fucking gnarly. Like,
yeah.
And they had to like have like burly ass dudes like tell people to fucking get out of the way because we're going out in the street, like in Long Beach or whatever. Like we're turning around out in the street, telling cars to stop, and then you're just doing your deal. And then I remember just feeling the vibe, just feeling it. That, and we're pretty used to this. We're around this all the time. I just remember standing up on top of the landing because when we weren't riding, there's just a crowd everywhere and walking and doing. And I remember going, we need to get the fuck out of here before it gets dark. Like I could just tell as the sun's starting to set.
You feel the energy.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Like we're fucking leaving soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're around this all the time. So, but I could just tell that it was the pressure was building.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no, we're leaving.
It's weird how you can feel it, right?
Yeah.
Like those crowds where you're just like, something bad's going to happen. Let's not be here when it does. So did you ride from like 06, 07, whatever it was? Did you ride much?
I mean, I rode all the time. I just didn't do FMX. I'd go to Star West like every Wednesday night or wherever. I actually rode way more.
Really?
We used to go to Star West all the time, and that's how I met Axel Hodges. I mean, I knew his brother, but like I remember going there and PH and McGrath. Like they came in the truck together,
Yeah.
And so Axel's on like a little CRF 150, and he's with MC and his dad, and his dad was a lot younger then. Obviously, he's a little kid. So his dad was actually out there trying to send it. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny, yeah. He's a character. Everyone knows that guy. But then like Mickey Diamond, I just remember like there was a crew. Like everyone would meet there, and it'd be like, fuck. I remember like trying to think like there's so many dudes. Like Josh Hill would come or Scott Champion.
That was the spot to go for a long time.
Yeah, but like Deegan, I remember Blask, all of us. We go.
Tuesday nights at Star West. This was 90s and early 2000s, but that was the spot. And a lot of times it was like the best Supercross practice because remember it was real tight and jumpy.
So it was fun. We did that every week. Like you would like I said, sometimes Mickey Diamond would be there, but you have a pretty like MC. Like it was a pretty rad, eclectic group.
So what were you doing to make money? Like make a living?
I still got paid from sponsors for years, for like lifestyle guy before all the internet stuff. Yeah. To be like a show up to photo shoots. Look cool.
Living the dream, man.
Show up with tattoos, you know, and just kind of go like this. Just run your hands through your hair. Yeah, get the shot. So I did that, and then I did that a lot actually. Just model guy, you know. And then I did also. I hope you have this on there. The movie.
I got it, bro. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, the movie was all-time classic.
All right, let's get to it. I want to take a quick break. This is your Troy Lee Designs timeout, guys. If you haven't been over to TLD, go check them out. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here to finish up with Beau.
There's a new product on the market that's going to help you with your riding and racing, and it's Elevate Action Sports. If you've not yet gone and checked it out at elevateactionsports.com, it's a collective of riding coaches, the likes of which has never been put together. Grant Langston, Ryan Hughes, Jeff Emick, Johnny Campbell, and myself, David Pingree, bringing all of our years of experience in professional racing to one place with professionally produced videos and all kinds of supporting staff to help you with your mental side of racing, your physical side, your bike setup, your bike maintenance. We cover it all. Get to Elevate Action Sports right now and join the community.
Dunlop. There is a reason every AMA championship in the past decade was won on Dunlop tires. They are the best. Choose the best performing tire and a brand that has never wavered in their support of our sport. Choose Dunlop. Pro Circuit. Pro Circuit products are designed with one goal in mind: winning. Through passion and hard work, Pro Circuit has operated the most successful 250 team in the history of the sport. They use that same formula when developing exhaust, engine, and suspension parts for every brand. When only the highest level of performance is acceptable, trust Pro Circuit.
Since 2009, Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship make Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
Something from nothing. That's what Nihilo Concepts is about. It starts with a spark, an idea, a concept, which leads to a design, and finishes with engineered excellence with the highest quality products created with durability in mind. All our products are made in the USA at our state-of-the-art facility in Stuart, Florida. Whether you are a weekend warrior, ride for fun, or at the highest level of competition, Nihilo Concepts offers innovative titanium, aluminum, and carbon fiber parts for your dirt bike. We offer a wide variety of products that you can customize to your liking. Browse our site for foot pegs, brake tips, engine components, specialty tools, frame grip tape, lever grips, carbon fiber components, motor stands, our secondary on-switch, plus much more. Head to NihiloConcepts.com and see for yourself why factory teams like Red Bull KTM, Rockstar Husqvarna, Troy Lee Designs Gas, Orange Brigade, Club MX, KLM Gas, and some of the fastest riders in the world choose Nihilo Concepts.
Specialized Bicycles. Specialized leads the way in the world of bicycling. Whether it's cross-country racing, downhill, e-bikes, enduro, road, gravel, dual slalom, dirt jumping, or all mountain bikes that do it all, Specialized has the perfect ride for you. The brand is synonymous with engineering excellence and innovation that steers the industry. Visit your local Specialized dealer for a test ride and see just how good Specialized products are.
With a rich history in motocross, ProX has been dedicated to supplying quality components since 1975. Whether you're rebuilding an engine or just need a new chain, ProX Racing Parts aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability. ProX has over 9,000 part numbers and over 60 different product types that are manufactured by highly reputable or even OEM suppliers and are offered at affordable prices to help keep riders on the bike instead of in the garage. Visit ProX.com to search parts for your bike or check them out at your favorite online or local dealer.
A lot of us have been talking about the Stasic generation of riders, and you forget how quickly things can change in a sport that is as young as motocross. That's 6-7 years that these bikes have been around training riders. So we have a Stasic generation out on the racetrack. A lot of those riders surely were raised on Stasics, and the skills they show are next level. All the things that coaches have been teaching riders on larger motorcycles for decades, they're doing it younger than ever, and it's hard to believe the Stasic generation is already here.
All right, everybody, welcome back. That was your Troy Lee Designs timeout. Their new fall line is out. If you guys are looking for moto gear heading into the fall winter here, check them out. All their 24 stuff's out. The paint department's cranking. Mountain bike gear, if you need some of that, check them out. TroyLeeDesigns.com. All right, let's get back into it, Beau. So I kind of wanted to hear some stories from the road, as I know that was your jam, like, right? You've said kind of just being in character and the lifestyle part was kind of that was your jam.
That was
and
it.
you do it well.
That's literally the riding was secondary. I mean, it's fun to ride for fun.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I want to be so good. You know, I just wanted to fuck shit up and see how much we could get away with.
Yeah.
Basically, we pushed the envelope and people loved it. And a lot of times in the early days, I think they saw the Krusty videos or whatever, and they thought if they hired us that's the show they were going to get. And I remember, like, in Guatemala, for example, I broke both my wrists. But I feel like the promoter was bummed that he didn't get that. Like, he thought if he just hired us, we were just going to fucking light stuff on fire. Yeah, and we didn't. And he was, like, disappointed.
Yeah, there's almost an expectation when you're getting paid to show up. That's what you're right. That's what they want. Mm-hmm. So give it to them, right?
Yeah. So
okay, so you, having done all these tours, you know, from the Mulisha tour, Warp tour, man, you got to have some good stories from the road. Rental car stories or bus stories or just party stories.
All of them. We've destroyed tour buses. Actually, we got from what I understand is that me and Scummy got Moto FMX clip from Warp Tour because it was on there every year, and like after us, they're like, "Fuck that, we don't want to do that anymore."
We're done.
And I heard, I don't know if it's true, that Hart was bummed on us for it because he liked the whole thing, and he's like, "These fucking idiots," you know. And then when we did the Mulisha tour, when we first flew in, I broke my wrist there too. First event. But I went gnarly right when we first got off the plane. A lot of us did. But imagine this.
Where is this?
Australia. I think we're in Sydney.
Okay.
I was fucking shit up and I was wasted. I think I was listening to Tupac or something out of character about Hennessy. Okay. So I just started drinking Hennessy like right when we landed, and I started getting a little
greased up,
pretty greased up, and rowdy. I was getting rowdy. And I think I was taking, those glasses with like the thick bottom. I was just throwing them off like the 15th floor out into the street. And Enslow pulled me aside. You're fucking up. When Enslow's like telling you, hey, he did. He pulled me aside. He was pissed at me because he's way older and we were like in our 20s, and he's like, he's like, hey, you're being a link hoggle right now or something. And he basically said I was going to get us kicked out of all of us out of the hotel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got worded up by Enslow for doing too much.
So when that happens, do you go, okay, I better chill. Like this
I think I reeled it. I think I was already so far sent that I just navigated the matrix and pulled it. Like I think here I am. Fucking yeah. I think I was just dodging bullets.
You get to a point. There's no reeling it back in, right?
No, there's no reeling it back in. But yeah, then there was like I said, the funny one with the Stain guys, and then when we were on Warped Tour, Pennywise are our really good friends. They're our homies for like life. And Fletcher, the big gnarly guy in the band, he had this thing he called a cleansing. And he had like this airsoft gun thing, and you had to like stand up against the wall with your shirt off and you just shoot your back. And I was like, fuck that. He's never doing that to me. And so every time we'd be hanging out on their bus or doing whatever, going wherever, and I'd see Fletcher, I'd be like, oh, I got to get the fuck out of here. And I'd go, and we were on our little pit bikes motoing, and he like slides the fucking window open, has like a Roman candle. He's shooting Roman candles at us, and he's like, I'm going to get you one day. I'm getting a cleansing. And finally, after a while, I just gave up, and I saw him. I'm like, all right, dude, fuck. And I just went and put my hands up, and he just, it wasn't even that bad. Getting shot by paintballs hurts way worse. But yeah, we were.
What was he shooting? Oh, an airsoft.
Yeah.
Why does he call it a cleansing? What is that about?
Just like, he just wanted to like, the pain cleanses you or something. Okay. But I didn't want him to get me, so I kept running from him. But we did all kinds of stuff. I did, I'm trying to think. There's so many funny things at like truck stops, like Flying J's. Oh yeah, we're in the South somewhere, and we pull in I got in fights. There's a dude that was our ramp tech that set up our ramp, and like once a summer we'd have to fight. Just happened. I love the guy to this day. I love him. But we'd fight because he, for whatever reason, like full fucking fight. And this one, we were the first one, we were somewhere in Ohio or something. We ended up in front of the bus and a bunch of trash bags, just fighting, and ended up in all this trash. The next one, I was riding up with the bus driver, just chilling, all zanned out, like kind of like sleeping, whatever. And he fucking pulls the door open because there's lights on there, and it reflects off the windshield, and the driver can't see. And he hit me in the back of the head, and I got so pissed. I think I got up, and we started fighting while we're driving. The bus driver's like, "Hey, knock that shit off. It's fucking dangerous." So we had to wait. Referee
put a timeout on it.
Yeah. And when we pulled into the Flying J, and everyone's getting gas, there's all the tour buses. Then they're like, fight. And then we just went for it, and it was pretty even. And it was whatever. I didn't care.
You guys are full on
swinging, fight, just a fight. Like you'd fight somebody. And then it was over with, and it was kind of an even deal. And we were walking into the Flying J. Like I said, I was like sleeping on Xanax. I was out, and I think he went going the other direction. Yeah. So it was two different programs. And we were walking into the Flying J, and he said one last thing. And I never wear white shoes. I always wear black, everything. And I think Watson pointed it out, every time you wear white shoes, you get in a fight or something. And I just stopped, planted my feet, and just closed fist, backhand him, and I didn't knock him out, like where he's on the ground, but he was seeing stars doing this. But the fight was over. We're fine. We're walking in together as a group. He had to say one more thing. Just planted my foot, swung it, and just caught it perfect, and just boonk, and he was...
Jeez.
I feel like Watson was trying to get me in trouble because he's an instigator, you know it. And one time he got me a dagger, it was at a truck stop like that.
Proper knife?
Like a fucking dagger, but I think it was more decorative, but it was sharp. And it stuck in this thing. I think he just knew I'd get in trouble with that, and he wanted me to have it. And then another one was, we were going in there, and I think it's for like truckers, like little baseball bats that you hit your tires with. I think he like got me one of those too. Like, here, why don't you have this? But I remember there was there were stowaways on the bus. Like there's like like the dudes that set up the ramp. There was this one guy that was like a hippie guy, like long hair. He sounded super stoned, but it turns out he like wasn't stoned at all, which I thought was weird. And he just drank Diet Dr. Peppers all the time. So every time he'd piss me off or do something, we'd go into his little cabinet and all of us would just be sitting around in the front lounge. We walked in just drinking Diet Dr. Pepper just to fuck with him. And then he had like a bottom bunk, and every time, because we're up partying all night, he's sleeping. We'd walk by and just kick the curtain on his bunk or like punch the wall where his head was in the back. But yeah, we fucking ruined tour buses, and the doors were just destroyed. So we took like banners like you get from one of your sponsors and draped it over the doors so you couldn't see all the holes in it. So when Kevin Lyman came,
was it their buses?
Yeah, well, he paid for them. Right? He didn't own them, but yeah, he had to pay for them, and he was pissed. And then one time I freaked out. I'd usually once a summer have a freak out, and Watson was calling me Meltdown Manley because I'd have a full meltdown. And this huge black guy choked me out, like got me in a full Nelson and took me in I was in my underwear. I think I was Rick Thorne had the BMX guy. I was going to fight Rick Thorne, and we're friends now too. But I think that was Watson's fault as well. I think he instigated that whole thing. And then I just was like, fuck this. I hate Warped Tour. I want to go home or whatever. And then somehow I was getting led like this onto Lyman's bus. And he's like, you're staying the night with me tonight. He's like, if you still feel that way in the morning, I'll send you home. Of course I didn't. I woke up and I was like happy to be there. But yeah, there was always some wild shit, fighting people.
Did you guys, as a group, like, was there pretty heavy drug use in that whole scene, or what was that like?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I never got involved in certain things that I felt like were taking it way too far. I feel like there is a line, and the problem is like, if you don't know where there's a line, or you go over the line, or you lose sight of it, you're fucked. You're done. You're a goner. Yeah. And so for me, I always like tried to keep it close to the line, whereas a few other guys, you know, they just kind of lost. They got foggy. They couldn't see the lighthouse out to sea. But no, yeah, we were young. Obviously, like you touched on it, like having kids. Even before I had kids, when I got older, I was just over it. You know?
Yeah.
Like
it seems like maybe mid to late 20s, you kind of start to go, all right, hold on a minute.
Yeah, for me, it was like late 20s.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I just didn't feel like it. Just literally was that simple. It wasn't like you got in trouble or this happened. It was kind of like you're just burnt out.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm over it. I don't feel like doing it.
I feel like anytime you start injecting stuff intravenously.
No, nothing like that.
That's past the line, right?
Yeah.
Like I see guys get into heroin, and I'm just like, how do you go there?
I always thought the same thing too. Like that's pretty gnarly.
Because like, you know, Lane Staley from Alice in Chains was always, that was my favorite band. And I remember where I was, Dallas Supercross, the year he died. I heard it in my rental car headed home. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then it's like Scott Weiland, you know, all of these guys, right? It's just, you would think you'd be like, all right, I've seen enough of guys that I know die on this stuff. Or maybe I'll leave that alone.
Yeah. Or like I said, like just to start with, you're like, you see what happened to this, like their whole trajectory.
Yeah.
To where you're like, nah, I don't want it. That doesn't look like fun.
No.
That's not fun. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I don't want to blow anybody out, but like you see guys on like meth and you're just like, dude, this doesn't look like a good time. Why are you even doing this?
Yeah, no, that's for me. That's what it was always like. I would see, like, that's why I said, like, the line crossing it. You'd see that stuff like that, and you're just like, yeah, no, I'm not.
This dude's grinding his teeth down to dust. Looks like he wants to scratch his skin off.
Yeah, no fun.
I'll pass. Seems like pills were kind of moto, like racing from injuries. Guys would get hurt and then take pills for that and then have a hard time getting off of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same kind of thing in FMX, that crowd.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. And for us, the OGs, we actually did grow up racing our whole lives and had those injuries from racing. We didn't just start doing FMX till we were like older, kind of. But yeah, it's one of those things that I think there was no education about it.
Yeah.
in our day when we were older. Like nowadays, everyone kind of has, because of the internet, documentaries, seeing shit, people have like a greater awareness of.
Yeah.
Whereas, in 1997 or something, you're weeded, you broke your arm, they give you drugs, you take them, then.
Yeah, doctor gave them to me. They said they're good. It must be safe, right?
Exactly. And then, obviously you take a liking to them. And I honestly think that for example, like some of those medications actually can work if used correctly.
Sure.
It's just like if
that's the key though, right?
Yeah, if used correctly. But it's a fine line.
Yeah.
And like I said, in our day, no one told you anything.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have any like this is what's going to happen if you do this. It's like you had to do it to find out.
Yeah. Well, I've got alcohol addiction that runs in my family on one of my family sides. And so like I've always been really sensitive to it. But I had an instance where I had this kidney stone that was like a problem. And I went through 2 surgeries, like this whole, it took about 3 weeks where I had 2 different surgeries. I was on Norcos, like heavy. I don't know if you ever had a kidney stone. They're brutal. And so by the time I got through this whole process, it was about 3 weeks. I was on a ton of stuff, dude, like general anesthesia and pills and pain, just like all this stuff. And when I finally came off of it, I went through withdrawals.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I can relate to it. But I was like, I'm like, I must have an infection. Like I'm shivering and I'm like nauseous and I'm pale. And and then I finally realized, because I just cold turkeyed it.
Yeah, no, that's not the way to go.
This is what this feels like,
It's heavy, huh?
Yeah.
No, we've done that a bunch of times. Obviously, you get hurt and then you have a period of time. Maybe you extended your period of time, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you do that, and you're like, whoa. And then you start figuring out a procedure or a program that works. So where you're like, well, looks like we better reel it back in.
But those are, like recognizing those moments and going, okay, I can see how it's real easy to just keep taking them. Or, like that kind of scared me where I was like, okay, I need to keep an eye on that. I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, no, we've all seen people, obviously, and obviously I had a little brother who passed on, and but also friends, just people you've seen it.
Yeah.
And so it's a bad deal.
Yeah. Any of you guys ever end up in jail? I gotta believe there's.
Yeah, of course.
Believe there's some stories.
A funny one. I mean, there's a lot of them, but there was a funny one where I wasn't there because I got hurt, so I couldn't go on the trip. But it was like a warp tour. It was called, I don't remember what the fuck it was called, but it's the same exact concept in Europe.
Okay.
I was supposed to go, the same crew, our, punk rock crew, and I broke both my wrists, so I couldn't go. But Scummy.
You broke your wrists a lot.
Yeah, I did.
A lot.
I did. And Scummy was over there, and he was riding his dirt bike through in Germany, probably, I would imagine, a historical park, something that's maybe been there for 1,000 years or whatever. He's out there just doing his deal, and the cops told him, hey, don't do that. Stop. And he's kept doing it. And I believe Jordan, Moto Triple X, strung out Jordan was there, and Smelly, the other owner of Moto Triple X, and Scummy puts his knuckles together, and it says American. Just goes, to the cops, and they're just all yank him to the ground, cuffed him, and took his ass to jail. And then there was one when we had the trade show in San Diego. Remember the ASR that used to Scummy again. He was on one. I remember this chick said we could she would work for Globe Shoes. She was one of the main people, and she had this really nice suite. And she's like, you guys can stay in here. She's very gracious. Thank you. Well, Scummy starts talking shit to her straight away. He's all, fucking fat cow, or whatever. He's just clowning her. And I'm just like, dude, we're going to get kicked out. You're blowing it. I was so bummed on him. And then we take off and go get food or something. And we see him in the way the lobby is at the elevator. I think it's on the 2nd or 3rd floor. It's on a hill or something. He's just standing there when the door opens, pissing through the crack down the elevator. And then we come back and we can't find Scummy. We're like, where's Scummy? And I went and knocked on the guy that ran Metal Mulisha at the time, knocked on his room. I'm like, where's Scummy? He's like, oh, he went to jail. He's like, oh, they took him to jail.
That'll do it. It sounds like he was headed that way all night. That's funny, man. Scummy, he went pretty hard back in the day.
Oh, he went so gnarly, like probably the gnarliest out of anyone.
Anybody in that crowd, you kind of mentioned this, maybe you don't want to say, but is there anybody you didn't get along with, like just have a history of?
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's certain people there's some people that I had my own personal reasons, but then there's other people, I don't know if you've ever had this happen, where everyone else likes them except you. Like they come across, they're putting on an act, they're doing a great job of, faking it, but you can just read right through it, and you're just like, this guy is not right. Something ain't right about him.
Top of mind, dude. I got a guy right now, very high level racer, and I'm like, he's got everybody snowed. That's not the dude. He is not the guy.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's guys like that where everyone likes them. They're like, why don't you like them? I just could just feel it. Yeah, it just wasn't authentic.
Okay, so tell me about Bro the movie. I tried watching some clips of this online. I couldn't get the whole thing, and I never got to see it. I guess I remember hearing about it, but I never watched it.
Yeah.
Until I was kind of prepping for this, and I saw it.
I think it's on iTunes, honestly. I'm not sure.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay.
I have DVDs of it. But so what happened there was these guys were making a movie, and they wanted us in it. Well, they contacted Metal Mulisha. Okay. And I think they wanted Deegan in it. Deegan's like big, and he's like, I'm not fucking doing that. That's so stupid. Well, he probably didn't want to look stupid, whatever. He's like, I got the perfect guys for you, me and Scummy. And so people from the office had called and like kind of prepped me on the overall gist of it. And I was like, yeah, fuck, whatever.
Was it good money?
For me, it was.
Yeah.
And probably Danny Trejo as well. He's a huge name. But yeah, they wanted us to go to LA and try out. And at the time I had sponsors, whatever. I didn't need to do it. And, but I thought it would be a fun challenge.
Yeah.
At the very least, the worst thing that's going to happen is I'm going to look stupid. It's not like riding dirt bikes. That's how I have to explain it to everyone. Like if you're jumping ramps or doing whatever and you're going to do an event, there's some pressure. Like if you fuck up,
there's real damages, real repercussions.
Worst case scenario, filming a movie, you look stupid. If you can't run through your lines or something, they just go cut and then they just start from the top. Yeah. So you could shoot that scene 100 times. Like nothing's going to happen to you.
So you guys actually had like speaking parts. You were a big part of the movie, not just stunt or just riding.
I didn't ride at all.
Oh, really?
I had a stunt double.
How's that, dude?
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You're a pro rider with a stunt double.
Yeah, I got a stunt double.
Who did it? Who doubled?
Todd Potter did some of it, and then Clint Esposito did the other part. Okay. But they didn't want me to ride.
Oh, in case you got hurt?
Yeah, because everything's filmed out of sequence. Like the very first day we filmed was actually like one of the last scenes in the movie. It's like if you broke your wrist and had a cast or something, that'd fuck up the whole production.
That makes sense. So how did it come out when you saw it?
I was relieved. We'll just put it like that.
Yeah, okay.
So I made the mistake not thinking, like when we were filming it, and it was before Instagram was big, or it was like 2010 when we filmed it. It didn't come out till 2012. So I went on Facebook, and I was like, yep, it's day 2 on set, filming the movie. Such a dumbass thing to do. So for the next 2 years, every single day, people would write me, asking me when the movie comes out. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't make it, but that was my bad. I should have never.
Yeah.
And so then I was nervous for like 2 years. I had to sweat it out for like 2 years. Going, oh my God. And then when I saw it, it turned out way better than I was bracing for impact.
Yeah.
I felt relieved. People said I did a good job acting. And obviously it's cheesy. What it was the guys making it were like, they were called Streetwise Entertainment, but they were like Mexican dudes from LA, like the San Fernando Valley, and they probably at the time Fuel TV. Remember Fuel TV? Mm-hmm. We were on that all the time, and they probably just saw it on there and go, "Whoa, that's a thing." So they basically wrote dirt bikes was kind of a backdrop. It wasn't like an integral part of the story. And my character was the main actor sucked. He was terrible. But he goes out with the girl that was my sister, my character's sister, and he gets introduced to the culture of gangs and drug dealing and all this crazy shit that was our militia deal. And I just ran with it.
Yeah,
it was funny. I thought it was funny.
I'm gonna try to find it and watch it, but
yeah, no, I remember when it first happened. I remember like seeing so many people were talking shit. So many people were bummed, like motocross people. Like I always think this is funny too, that people are like, "This is bad for the sport." Really? Like how?
Yeah. I suppose people thought Days of Thunder was bad for NASCAR though, like NASCAR fans, right? Huge movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, people were just like saying that it was like a bad deal. And I'm like, obviously the people that live in Hollywood in that world, they're never going to get it right.
No.
Never. No. So like you can't expect them to.
Well, I stunt doubled one of the main characters in Supercross the movie. You remember that pile of crap? And what we actually shot was really good. The riding footage was great. They were using really high-end cameras. Like it was way ahead of anything at the time we had seen. But they get it in the editing room, and it's like...
And they put like 4-stroke noises of 2 strokes.
We were so embarrassed when it came out. Like, because we saw the raw footage, we're all, dude, this is going to be epic. Like this is our, you know...
We're in it.
We're
doing
it.
it.
Yeah, we're finally Moto has a good movie. And dude, like, Channing Tatum was in it.
Yeah.
Sophia Bush. Like, it had a really good cast.
Yeah.
They dicked it up in the editing. I want to go punch whoever edited that thing together. Like, huge whiff not having someone that knows Moto just sit in there with you and go, no, dude, that's a
They never do that.
Never. So anyway.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, it's like you would think by now you would be like, fuck, that's not what the dirt bike, like it's almost like they go out of their way to do it fucked up just to.
It's in any movie though.
Yeah.
Like a really high end, like a Tom Cruise movie. If there's a dirt bike scene, he'll come out of a turn and they're shifting up like 8 times. This bike has like 14
and they're
speeds.
lugging it so bad.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's a 2-stroke here, and then it'll turn the corner, and now it's a 4-stroke down. You're all, bro, just at least be consistent. Even if it's wrong, make it the same. Ugh, idiots. Anyway, I'm gonna have to watch it. Bro, the movie. Or just called Bro, right?
Yeah, well, I think it is called Bro the movie. I'm not sure of it. Like I said, I was really nervous. I didn't care. I got paid. It was fun. I had fun fucking around and doing it. And I also had expectations of like all this like scandalous Hollywood shit, and nobody was doing anything exciting.
You're like, Warped Tour was way gnarlier than
way fucking gnarlier. Yeah. And so me and Scummy just brought the gnarly to the set. We just like, well, we'll just make it gnarly then. And so yeah, like. I was thinking, oh, we're fucked. Everyone's like, then it came out, and I'm like, hey, that's not too bad. I felt relieved. I didn't care.
That's awesome. All right, I'm going to check it out. I know you're pretty tight with Twitch. I wonder what you think. I'm always impressed of how he is, the staying power he's had. Like, I remember, I think it was 06, 07. You remember that Navy Moto X World Championships they did at San Diego?
That was sick, where they had Supercross. I remember you were a Supermoto guy.
I did Supermoto down there, and I remember being down on the floor and watching them. There was a gap that was going east to west. I don't know, dude. It was 100. It had to be 100 plus feet. It was massive, and Twitch was back flipping it. And like it just, even then, you know, flips had been out a while, and I just was standing there going, dude, these guys are freaking nuts.
Yeah.
So, you know, going way back to when he started, but like he's just been gnarly all the way through on his riding, but then what he's done with like DBK and just still he's relevant, right? What is he doing? Like, what is it that he does that's so just genuine? I guess. Like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is for one, he was there since day one, so he built a big following, but he's just stayed true to his deal. He hasn't switched his deal up or got weird or took some trendy, you know, direction.
Yeah, right.
And then anyone that interacts with him, like fan interaction, they have a good experience. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's not like arrogant. He would give you the shirt off his back. And like when we did those episodes with Wyatt and whatnot, everyone thanks him. Like, thank you for, he's still helping people to this day get into it. And so the kids help motivate him, I imagine. He's 2 years younger than me. I'm 45, so he's 43. He's like you'd be over it. All your other old friends are over
Yeah,
it.
right.
But these kids are like amped up and stuff. And he's like, I'm going to ride with these guys. And like, cause I know during COVID, I rode more during that lockdown period than I did in like 10 years straight.
Is that right?
Yeah. I just rode like almost every day. I remember like riding so much and being like, fuck, I'm hurting so bad. There's no way. And these kids would just show up at my house on their bikes, just ready to go. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking 40 years old. I can't do it. I gear up and go ride with them. Yeah. They just pushed me, and I did it.
He's just always been the same guy, and I think that's part of it. But you got to have thick skin around him. He's not scared to talk some shit or call you on your BS, right?
Well, that's another thing is he's funny.
Yeah.
And so like you could be having the worst day ever, and I used to drop in on my way home just for lip service.
Yeah.
And then after a laugh, I would go home and my stomach would hurt because I laughed so hard. And I like, that's why people, he has good energy.
Yeah, he does have good energy. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I'm always impressed by him. Like everything he does, even he's got DBK, which is killing it, but he started that double bogey crew, like the golf side. And I'm like, he's going to kill it. Like it's going to end up, what a great name, Yeah,
I also think he always has like the right people around him to help like guide him or at least like if he's new to this world, he has like someone with experience that comes in and makes sure he doesn't waste time, like which, trial and error with stuff.
Yeah.
So
what would you say is the hardest trick to pull in free ride or freestyle? Like,
well, I'm not the guy to ask for that.
Well, but you're in, I mean, even just watching, if it's something even you don't do, but like,
I just think that the whole front flip thing seems really goofy. I mean, it's sick, but you saw X Games, right, with Jacko. Like, that seems unthinkable. The backflip makes sense as far as it coming around.
Yeah, you're powering it, right?
Yeah, and it's like, but to go and just get that whole thing to go that way.
It just feels like you're tucking and you just feel stalled.
Oh, like, I bet it feels terrible.
Terrible. Yeah. What's the worst crash you've had?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I got my bell rung a few times as a kid. Obviously, breaking both my wrists at the same time really sucked. I broke my eye orbit and my sinus one time. That sucked. It was in Salt Lake.
Who helped you? Were you? Did you have a girlfriend or anything at the time?
Yeah, and I had like a cast like this, and the other one was short, so I wasn't like too bad. It wasn't like this.
Yeah.
But
I was the exact same thing. Like I did radius and ulna here, and then this one was just a fracture here, but cast on both. And my wife had to get in there and
wipe your ass,
clean up, and I mean
that's gnarly. I'm pretty sure I figured out a way to wipe my ass. It's been a long time.
I just always told my wife, because this one had a thumb spike on the cast. I'm all
just wrap the spike.
I'm like, if I get poop on my cast, like
I'm fucked.
That's it. Yeah. Like I'm gonna have to cut my arm off. I can't live like this. So, but you gotta respect. You gotta have some like trust in your wife. Like
I just remember like you have to put the bags over it with the rubber band. I had to like go like this and get a shower. Actually, that's a funny story. When I did it, I came back to the hotel. This is in Guatemala, and they cast. You're not supposed to put a cast on when they're swelling, and then go get on an airplane.
Yeah, right.
Fuck, what a nightmare. But I go back to the hotel. I'm all dirty, and I had long hair like in a ponytail, and it was coming out. But I'm just all like fucking because I crashed. Because I crashed. I was like, none of my friends were there, and I had like a room key, and I think I don't speak Spanish, but I like went to like the the room cleaning lady deal and was like, hey, fuck, this is it. Like
are you on pain meds probably? The whole deal.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh fuck, just do this. And so she realized and she couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak Spanish, but she knew I was fucked.
Yeah.
So she went to my room with me. She gave me a shower.
No, she did not.
Yeah, she did. She had gold teeth too. She had like gold teeth.
She showered you up.
She gave me a shower, pulled my fucking thing back into a ponytail for me. Yeah, she did. She put the bags on. I got on my knees. Yeah, she even like.
Really?
Yeah, she didn't like.
It wasn't a happy ending.
No,
it was a proper wash job.
It was a proper wash job.
God, respect.
I was unreal. Every time I tell people that story, they're like, no way. I was like, yeah, dude. I was like struggling so bad, and she could tell. And I'm like, she just knew. Like, I'm pretty sure she had like take my underwear off, my socks, everything, and then dress me afterwards.
That's wild.
And she just had gold, like a bunch of gold teeth.
Fully grilled out.
That was sick.
I've never heard anything like that, dude. That is wild.
Yeah.
I broke both my arms at a supermoto race in Oregon. Medford? No.
That sounds like
Redmond.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I flew out of LAX, and I had a little Toyota Tacoma stick shift.
Oh.
And so I go to the ER. They did like a half cast, for that reason, right? Like, because I needed surgery on this one. But I'm, wrapped up, and they hurt, and I'm on pain meds. And someone helps me get checked in, and I'm flying home, and I'm just like, how am I going to drive myself home? Like, my wife was working or something. Like, she couldn't, I'm like, how am I getting home? And I'm like, I'll just drive it. Fully Norcoed out, had no business behind the wheel of a truck, but I'm just, you're not thinking clear.
Yeah.
And so this one was real bad, right? So this one was just a fracture. So I got this one against my stomach, a stick shift, dude. I'm reaching down and shifting and steering. Got myself home.
That's amazing, especially with traffic and lane changes.
From LA, from LA to here.
So gnarly.
I don't recommend that.
No, I don't either.
So I love FMX, but like for me, I love watching free ride stuff.
Yeah.
Out in the hills, natural terrain stuff, like the Great Ride Open when those guys did that, or just anything at Beaumont, Retchie, anything like that. I love that.
And it's fun.
It's so fun. What are your thoughts on like what, the two different sort of, because they're kind of two disciplines within the discipline, right? And then like guys like Axel and what he's done. Mm-hmm. Or even like what, Colby's doing, or just all those guys, Behrman.
Yeah.
They've kind of taken it to another level and kind of blended the two a little bit. Because like Axel's place is FMX or kind of moto-y jumps, but he's doing free ride stuff on it.
Yeah.
And wall rides. And like, what's your thoughts on all that?
Well, I just think I think about free riding is like it's trail riding. What it is depending on where you live, right? If you live some other
extreme
state,
trail riding.
Yeah, well, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you live in some other state where there's no terrain for it, you're just riding through the woods or something.
Yeah.
But out here, I mean, you're driving down the freeway and you do see people's tire marks where they've ridden, like that Jason Borowski where he jumped that house.
Yeah.
I've looked at that house for a decade. I remember.
Really? Where is it?
It's off the 10, like going, like if you went up through Beaumont and we're heading towards Redlands.
Okay.
It's just right off the right off the 10. And I've seen that because I had surgery in 2021 at Loma Linda up there, snap tendon in my deal. But I'd look at that house and of course I never thought, fuck, someone should jump that. But
You've seen it.
But you know what I mean? Like as far as free riding is, like in California at least, you're just looking around and you're just like, that's a jump.
Yeah.
That's a jump.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And we're probably lucky here. You're right. If you live in, I don't know.
Or a flat state.
Yeah.
Where there's nothing.
Texas.
Yeah.
Not a lot of hills
there ain't
in
no
Texas.
free riding going on there.
We have it good out here for that.
Yeah.
And it's still my favorite thing to do. Even if I just lay a hill track out when it rains.
And there's like a little like bump on the top of the hill where you kind of like load
over
your suspension. Yeah. And get that. It's just a cool feeling.
Yeah. That's the best. So are you, like, where do you see it going? Kind of more like what Axel's doing, that kind of thing? Or do you think it'll stay separate? I mean, like, no one really saw the half pipe thing coming, or quarter pipe.
I mean, it was around for a long time. Do you remember when Renner did the one in Santa Monica? And then before that, I believe it was Doug Parsons made like a little, I don't remember where it was, if it was in Beaumont or Ritchie, but he made some like wall ride type thing with a jump into it, going way, way back.
He lived in Ritchie. We used to park at his house. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's been dudes that have done it. And then, I don't know, we were talking about it with somebody, but back in the 80s in like a BMX magazine, there was a dude on like an RM80 that was in a half pipe, like a full like vert ramp. And he's just fucking, I remember being like 8 or 9 years old and seeing a dude. Like, I feel like he had like BMX, like he probably had like airwalks on, in those tight BMX pants, but he was fucking, so it was
sending it, huh?
So it's been out there. It's just a matter of like,
so what's next? Where's it gonna go?
Fuck, I don't know. My mind's blown. The front flip thing, the triple back flips, the body varials, I mean,
do you think with that Varg, like these electric bikes that are coming, like, 'cause watching what Pat does on that thing,
That he's just going to barrel roll it.
That's what I think, dude.
Yeah.
I think he's either going to do a full spin or like, I don't know, what would that even be? He's backwards. I don't know how you do it. He's already upside down and backwards. All you got to do is just like keep
figure
going.
Figure out a way to get it around. Well, I know, when you see like when Deegan did the 360 or Pastrana, and then Bilko seemed to like be able to just do them off 75 just anytime, any plays. But they're like an underflip, kind of like like he's not just going like BMX style, which that would be gnarly if someone like kind of like what you were saying with Pat, if he like just whipped it super hard and let it come all the way around.
I don't know if it would, but it seems like there's less gyro in that bike. Mm-hmm. Where I think a regular internal combustion engine, it would be tough. It would want to start coming back the other way on you, right? Mm-hmm. I think on an electric bike, if you get the technique right.
And you got the airbag, why not give it a go? Yeah,
well, I'm out, but have fun. I just think it's possible. Yeah. Like that opened up new possibilities, I think.
Yeah, I rode Colby's when we did that first episode, and that's like the first time I rode one, and I couldn't believe how fun it was.
It's fun, right? Yeah, I know. I wanted to hate it because I think that electric
cars and
save the earth thing is bullshit. But from just a fun and performance thing, it's like it's a lot of fun.
Anyone that's hating on those things just hasn't ridden one.
Yeah,
because if you ride one, it's unreal.
I know, and you can still hate it, but you can't deny that it's a good time.
You're having fun.
So, all right. So, do you still ride much now? I know we got you a Suzuki 450 you're going to be riding for the year, kind of going out with the guys when we shoot stuff.
Yeah, it just depends on like that. I had a 250 you guys gave me. It was 105 fucking degrees from the time I got it till I gave it back. So I think I rode out in the hills out here by where we live. I rode it a bunch like right before like sunset when it would cool off, but it's obviously dry as hell.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to ride.
Yeah.
I just wanted that feeling of riding and just being like not losing the ability.
You plan on getting into it this winter and putting some time on? I
would like to.
Yeah.
And then, I just had, just depends. Like at various times I had like when this happened, when I had to have this surgery, up until that happened, I was riding a bunch. It was the COVID thing. Mm-hmm. And what happened was there was hardware in my wrist and the tendon was just rubbing on it until it just popped. But I was like riding a bunch, and then all of a sudden that happened. And what it was I was loading a Harley. I rode the Harley all day, and it was this trailer, big long trailer, and I just rode it up the ramp. The way the ramp was is I rode up the side door, not the back one, and I had to fold this ramp up and throw it in there, and then I locked it. And all of a sudden I was like, fuck, my thumb feels all weird. Like I didn't even know exactly at what point it happened. And it was like stuck in a thumbs up like that.
Full Pastrana?
Yeah, it was like that. Like I couldn't do that. Now that's as much as a thumbs up as I can do. Look at that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can't?
No, that's it.
Because it tied it tighter?
It's so tight that like if I put my hand out, it goes in. Huh. So that kind of like things like that.
Yeah, but that's good.
I got the grip for sure. It's just stuff like that. It's kind of like depending on how it's feeling. I'm like, fuck, this thing's hurting.
Yeah, getting all this lame.
Yeah, it sucks.
Especially when we beat ourselves up. So what do you guys do for fun? Like when you're not motoing, nothing going on. What else do you like to do? Kind of what's on your? You still snowboard? You skate?
I haven't been skating or snowboarding due to this. I don't want to put my hand out. I have thought about, because I've wanted to skate pretty bad. Like there's new parks here and there I see, and I'm like, fuck, that'd be so fun to skate. I need to get like a wrist guard or something and make some sort of thing that makes it so I can't jam that. But obviously I really like nature. Especially California. Like this summer we went on a trip and we went up the 395. Then we went up to Reno and then the Bay Area. There's the radical scene change of being in the forest and in the desert and at the beach, and it's just cool.
Yeah, this state, outside of its politics and overcrowding down here, man,
beautiful.
It's hard to beat it geographically.
Yeah,
the weather and the mountains, the beaches, like it's
going snowboarding or surfing or
Yeah, that's tough to beat.
riding dirt bikes in the desert. Like,
Yeah, you got it all.
yeah.
Any plans of like anything you want to do in or outside the industry in the future?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'd like to do. I've been thinking of different ways of doing stuff, and also I think maybe like people have told me forever to do a podcast, and I don't know how to do this shit. You know what I mean? I'm not like computer smart. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you got to have a Nate.
Yeah, I don't got a Nate, but I don't have one of those. But people just want to hear me tell stories or like interact and do stuff, and I wouldn't mind doing more of that.
Yeah. Well, you got great stories and you got good relationships with all these guys. That's why I love the HangTime feature, man. It just feels like you guys hanging out and BSing, like there's not a camera there.
Mm-hmm. That's what we wanted it, right?
That's how we want it, yeah.
And then the thing is obviously we have to do editing.
Once in a while.
Yeah, because, like if we're just hanging out and we're not aware there's a camera there and we say something we shouldn't have, God forbid.
It happens.
Yeah.
My favorite part, I can't remember, maybe you were with Wyo and you guys are doing you're talking, doing an interview. And I think maybe it was Pat. He's all, hey, you guys doing an interview?
Yeah.
How's it going? Like screaming in the middle of you guys recording.
I thought that was pretty funny. Or that I think it was that same one when Twitch was talking shit, and then he pulls up behind him. And he's like, "Oh, guy that just got a medal. He thinks he's sweet or something."
Yeah.
But basically, I think it was like we tried to while we were talking, Twitch was there. We wanted to be like, "Dude, you're the only OG that still does it." And I said, "Except I think Cowboy Kenny." And then Twitch is all, he doesn't count or something. Just shut up. I thought that was pretty funny.
Standard Twitch.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I ask everybody this kind of our last question is how you want to be remembered in the sport. What do you think? Kind of a legacy question.
Well, that's a tough one due to the fact that people probably didn't know that I grew up racing flat track or doing other disciplines, or, I'm just the FMX or the bro guy or whatever, so I don't know. I guess just being one of the I know people this is why they like me was the punk rock, not giving a fuck or just being true to yourself.
Yeah.
And just having your own unique style, because a lot of people, they kind of have to copy someone else's style or do what's trendy, where I try to keep it what I'm influenced by.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I could think of is just fucking just being just being different.
Yeah.
Being different.
Yeah. I love it, dude. Well, I think you're doing a good job at that. So you've nailed your goal. I dig working with you. I appreciate you being a part of what we're doing with the HangTime stuff, and it's cool getting to know you better, man.
Yeah, thank you.
So thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity to try to showcase these guys, and like you said, no one's doing it. Obviously, it's trial and error. Everyone's different. We just did the one with Jason where we came up with there's no way we're going to be able to film all this shit. So we're like, hey, how about you just tell us what you want to talk about and then give us the shots.
Yeah.
That worked.
It worked. Yeah, it was killer. Well, dude, thanks so much for taking the time to come in.
Thank you.
I'm stoked to keep working with you. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Beau Manley, stick around. We'll be back to wrap up the show. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that show with Beau Manley. Interesting guy, man. Tons of personality. And guys like him are exactly why freestyle motocross took off and brought in a new crowd of people. A little more loose, kind of like Happy Gilmore in golf. But just a lot of fun, and just genuinely, he is who he is. And I think, kind of like we talked about with Twitch, that's what made Beau popular, was he is unapologetically himself. And anyway, cool spot in history that he's had. And maybe not even for his riding. He was a great rider, but he didn't win a bunch of gold medals or anything else. It was for being him and being a personality, and he did that well. So it was fun going through his story. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, support our sponsors. These guys back here on this screen keep this thing coming to you week after week. We're really appreciative of them. Go get some new merch. This is another way we're funding what we're doing on the media side of things. Trying to make cool stuff you guys would like. So Willie's ready. Make it happen. We also have a Johnny Cash one and a Waylon Jennings one. You'll see those on the site, whiskeythrottlemerch.com. Check them out. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon.
Yamaha is the industry leader in two-wheeled fun and performance. Celebrating 50 years of YZ in 2024, the Blue Crew is still dominating shootouts and competitions. Yamaha, revs your heart.
Troy Lee Designs is the leader in off-road motocross apparel and style. So whether you're looking for a cool new paint job for your helmet, maybe your name and number on your helmet lettered on, you're looking for new gear, you're looking for mountain bike gear, off-road gear. They've got the brand new Scout line and GP and SE models. Troy Lee Designs has it all. They've been leading this industry for decades, and they're going to continue to do it. Check out TroyLeeDesigns.com. SKDA is a moto graphics and seat covers company with several offices based around the globe. For too long, bikes and graphics have all looked the same. They just start to blend together. SKDA is working to change that. With super clean and unique design work, a bike with SKDA graphics stands out in a crowd and adds a touch of art to the world of moto. Hey, we need that. SKDA prides itself on providing premium customer service both before and after the sale is made. Visit SKDA online to view the current product range and get in touch with their team to get your bike refreshed. I want to just make a mention here that these guys, not only is their design way outside the box, very, very cool. They'll work with you on custom things. The products are incredible. Okay, they'll speak for themselves. But what's really awesome, and you'll notice this the minute you order one of these, man, they give you an email saying, hey, the product's been shipped. Hey, the product is here. It landed in this spot. Hey, it's coming today. Hey, your product's been delivered. They just so good about staying in touch with you and letting you know where it's at. Customer service is 100%, and that's just something that's rare these days. Check out SKDA. Here at the Whiskey Throttle Show, we're all about supporting brands that support our sport. And there's one tire company that has never walked away from the sport of motocross and supercross, and it's Dunlop. When times got tough and the economy took a crash, Dunlop stepped up and stayed with our sport to support it and the athletes and individuals that love it. Their MX-53 line and MX-33 lines absolutely dominate this sport. Every national championship at the pro level has been won in the last decade, and nearly every single amateur national championship at Loretta Lynn's has been won on a Dunlop. So if you're looking for high performance, you're looking for amazing quality, and you're looking to support a brand that never turns its back on our sport, there's only one choice for you, and it's Dunlop. Pro Circuit is the leader in aftermarket performance and quality. Whether you're looking for a little more horsepower out of your engine, some quality hard parts to improve the way your bike feels and looks, better handling through suspension or linkage arms, Pro Circuit is where you need to stop. It's your one-stop shop. You can go in there and get everything you need to make your motorcycle go from average to exceptional. Pro Circuit's got enough number one plates on their wall to side an entire home, and there's a reason for that. They're very, very good at what they do. The highest quality products with one goal in mind, and that's winning. Check out ProCircuit.com. Nihilo Concepts is leading the way in aftermarket hard parts. With their secondary on-switch device, something that was much needed in this sport, they've been innovating and bringing new products to market. Their latest is the new Nihilo Run Cool brake pistons. They're designed to be stronger than stock and provide exceptional cooling performance with less brake drag. Most OEM calipers pistons are made from aluminum that just can't hold up to the heat and extreme demands of serious racing. When they get hot, the aluminum will distort, causing loss of hydraulic pressure and brake failure. Nihilo's Run Cool pistons limit the area that boiling hot hydraulic fluid is able to come in contact with the piston, leaving 2/3 of the piston volume in open air with breather holes to enhance the cooling ability. It's made of a proprietary stainless blend, which is better at dissipating heat. You have issues with brake fade or brake failure, check out Nihilo Concepts among their many amazing hard parts and carbon fiber parts and titanium. NihiloConcepts.com. Seat Concepts is the leader in motorcycle saddles. If you're looking for a new cover or a new seat entirely, Seat Concepts is the place to go. They make custom seat foams catered to your height, weight, riding ability, riding type. They also have waterproof covers and foams that will not break down if you ride in a lot of inclement weather. And they pride themselves on being much more comfortable than OEM or any other aftermarket company. If you're looking for a new seat or a new cover, Seat Concepts, there's nothing better. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than ProX. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Pro X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the Polaris RZR 800s. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Pro X. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Pro X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the... If you've got a little Grom that's looking to get started in the motorcycle world, the best way to get them going is on a Stasic bike. They've got multiple sizes, so from your very young Groms to those who are a little more grown up, you can start them safely. They've got controls that allow you to control the speed so he can't get going too quick. They can touch the ground. There's not a lot of noise to distract them. It's the perfect way to get your child involved in motorcycling at a very young age. And if you've got a kid who's already out ripping, there's series popping up all over. For those of you in Southern California, go to www.ameminicross.com and join their local series. If you're outside of this state, contact your local track and ask them about starting a Stasic class at your local track. Get over to Stasic.com and check out all they've got going on. Moto. And finally, last but not least, Specialized bicycles. If you are in the market to start pedaling, this is where you want to start. They've got great entry-level bikes all the way up to the Cadillac, the new Levo e-bike, anything in between, man. It doesn't matter what kind of riding you're doing. Go check out and start with Specialized. Don't waste your time on something that's going to break. The derailleur's not going to shift after a couple months. Get something quality. These guys make it. Specialized leads that industry.
Thanks for watching and listening to the Whiskey Throttle Show. Be sure to like and subscribe to get notified when new shows go up. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And visit whiskeythrottlemedia.com for additional content.